Best interviews on the planet.
Mm-hmm. Mold on a sandwich.
What's
Just
that?
eat the fucking sandwich.
Yeah. Hey everyone, this is Anthony with Interviews with Everyday People, sitting here with the band Adrenalyn.
Howdy.
Super excited for this one. So real fast, we'll get my stuff out of the way real quick. If you like what you hear and you want to help this channel grow, we do have a PayPal link in the bottom. Patreon is what I'm hearing about. That's possibly coming soon if you're looking that route. But for now, if you want to help grow, or even if you like and don't like what you hear, and you want us to get better at what we do, you can always hit that PayPal up. Everything is supported, and it's very, very grateful if you do so. Also, Skookstock, 2 weeks, the 24th. Well, yeah, the 24th. I don't know when this is going to air, but August 24th, because it'll probably air 1 week out from Skookstock. But go check it out. 8 bands, 6 comedians. One of my co-hosts on my other thing, he said you have all that entertainment. He goes, if you break it down by thing, I think you're paying $2 per band and by comic. He goes, for $25 ticket, you're getting, yeah. So it's a lot of cool stuff. Crowbot album release party, Faith Got a Driver, and then 8 awesome local bands that you can come support, along with local comedians. And then the main reason we're here today is we're going to talk about Operation Bear Hug. Does anyone want to take that away? How did this came about?
This is her baby.
Okay.
And if you don't know this amazing woman, her son was on our show not too long ago. Everyone's favorite, Billy. So
Yep.
this is Billy's mom.
Billy's mom. Yeah.
Introduce yourself quick. Actually, everyone, go around the room.
Thank you.
I'm Mike. I play lead guitar.
I'm Lee. I'm the bassist.
I'm Carrie. I'm the drummer.
Singer couldn't be here today.
No.
Or Magoo. Magoo's not here either.
Yeah.
There
He's
is
just
five of us.
Magoo's just too shy.
Yeah. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess to start off, I'm basically give why and what we're doing. This year, our benefit that we're hosting is Operation Bear Hug. If anybody is interested. Last year, to kind of start it off, what I want to do every year is do a benefit to kind of help the smaller people, whether it's a business or a charity organization, because we've done a lot of benefits to help the bigger things, whether it's ALS, Cancer Society, things like that. But there's a lot of local people that need help just as much as
Absolutely.
The other ones. So last year we had a benefit which was really nice. We did it to help out Yin Yang Music, which he had a program for others to learn how to play music. So anything involving music or children is something that I have a strong feeling for.
Mm-hmm.
If it's involving the kids and music. So we did the one for the music last year, and at that one I was actually able to get my all-girl band back together. We didn't play in 20 years together, which was awesome, with Boo Boo Kitty.
Great.
And
It's a great name too.
yeah, and it was just a great feeling to be on stage with the girls and not really get together with them before the show. We practiced twice with the 3 of us, and we basically went on the fly, which was really awesome.
And they use Skype with
Yeah.
the singer in
We
California.
tried to Skype to practice with our singer.
Oh wow.
It didn't work too well, but it
I'm just
all.
gonna adjust real quick. You can keep going.
Sure.
Just gonna.
Yeah, I know I'm quiet and.
You're quiet. And I don't want you. By the end of the
And I'm
interview, your back's gonna be killing you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, it was really cool. We made a couple bucks to add to the program that John was running. It was really nice to give someone an instrument and a month worth of free lessons, because music is something that we all kind of grow with, or that's with us, and we're really involved in. And if I didn't have music, I mean, I don't know about anybody else that's in it, but I think I'd be lost.
I can't imagine my life without it.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was the major reason why we did that one last year. Well, this year I thought, well, if we can make this an every year type of event and just pick something else different. So one day I was just scrolling on Facebook when I have a chance, because I don't have much time to do anything.
I don't mean to interrupt, but that benefit last year actually kind of kickstarted like a breath of new life into Goodfellas too.
It did.
Bringing stuff back into Goodfellas and.
Yeah, there wasn't much going on there for actually a couple years, and we kind of like opened the doors for that. And then we did a benefit after that for Dave Haslam with my dad. I was helping him with running that, and we did another one for another lady at Goodfellas I can't remember.
I can't
her
remember.
name.
There's so many shows we've done.
But I mean, you know, to kickstart and keep the venues alive, because there's not many places to play in the local scene. So not to go too far off the track. So that was the first one that we did. This year, because I wanted to keep it, like I said, involved with the local, small, trying to help out someone. Scrolling through Facebook one day, I just came across a post that there was a lady looking for donations for stuffed animals to help grow their program for the Schuylkill Frontier Girls. Kind of like a Girl Scouts type of thing. Young girls looking to help and get involved in the community in any way they can. And the post was looking for the collection of stuffed animals, and I kind of like just scrolled over it. Well, then I lost the post, and I was like sitting there the one day, I'm like, you know what, it would be really awesome if we could do something to help these girls. They want to get more fire companies, emergency services involved in growing with the communities together. So basically what it is they collect the stuffed animals, they keep them in the trucks, and then if there's obviously emergency situations, traumatic times with kids involved, you know, stuffed animals kind of like the comfort to give to them.
That was a big thing for police officers for a while there. Remember, they would like pull you over and you're freaking out, like, what did I do wrong? And you're like, he'd walk up and like, oh, you have kids in the car, and everyone's buckled in. Here's a teddy bear for the kids.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing, because those kids, that's something that kind of like embeds in their mind. If something happens like that, at least there's something kind of comforting and good for them.
Yeah,
you know?
only negative stuff makes it to the internet and the media and the news. That's why it's not. That's what I try to hear. Bring that positivity out.
Yeah, and I'm very big on pushing away the negative in everything. Yeah. Whether it's everyday life or stress. I mean, I'm less negative.
Sorry.
But
I'm the village asshole. There, I'm the first one that cursed.
So finally I kind of got back to the post, did some research, and found the lady who posted it, got in contact with her and said, hey, would you mind if we, you know, hosted a benefit and helped you guys out, you know, with whatever we can get, you know, whatever we put out there or whatever we get in is more than what we started with. You know, I seen some of the things that the kids were doing, and they were going to, you know, cemeteries and scrubbing and cleaning up like the old headstones, like the old ones, or spending time at the nursing home with, you know, the residents and doing things with them and paint rocks, and like they're always doing something to be involved with the community. So just a little token, you know, of appreciation for what they're doing, because the kids, they're the ones that are going to be kind of running the show in a couple of years, and if they can't take care of each other or help others to stay positive, to help others, I mean, there's not much.
Yeah, and it gets them away from video games.
Hey,
there's nothing wrong with video games.
We all play video games.
Oh I have my little tangent on. I'll usually play like, you know, for a month straight, and then I have my fix.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you look at society today in general with the younger kids, I remember being a kid here 2 blocks away from here, from your house, where the elderly lady next door, we were shoveling out her sidewalk.
Yep.
You don't see that anymore.
It still happens a little bit, Fractal.
I see it a little bit in Ashland.
There's a few kids that walk around, they'll go around with lawnmowers and try to cut people's grass.
And that's great.
Yeah.
But for a long time, it disappeared.
Yeah. I think it's a taught thing, too. And this is a knock against, you know, parents, but a lot of parents, too, they're like the video. I don't have an issue with video games, but if it's used as a crutch, it can definitely be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
But but it is a way of expressing themselves too. I know some kids are very, very shy, but you put them on a video game and they get on a headset and they make friends across the world that like they never would have met before. That gives them that comfortability to actually talk to people. Like there's like I watched this one where they said, okay, we're gonna make this game, and to the kids it was a video game, but what they actually did is they gave them a problem on how to make a vaccine to cure something, and it took doctors years and years and years and years to do this and problem solve, and they gave it to an 8-year-old and made it into a video game, and he cured it in 3 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's
because
incredible.
The problem solving that they learn from video games, they like it could benefit people as well. So
Carrie knows, like with Billy was what, 6 or 7 when we started dating. That was our icebreaker between Billy and I.
Yeah,
you know, because you know different guy coming to date his mom, and that was the icebreaker between us, you know. And that was like a special little thing when I come over and we'd play some games. And
I bet you scared the hell out of him.
I probably did. I mean, look at this mug. I mean, I'd scare the shit out of anybody. But they're like my youngest son now. We got him playing Hello Neighbor, where you have to remember what you were doing.
Memorization skills, yeah.
And
it scares the shit out of you.
Yes, and he's a whiz at it. Yeah. I mean, I wanted him to get that brain moving a little bit, you know, and
so
that worked out.
Here's a crazy thing. I was born with a lazy eye, really, really bad lazy eye. And the doctor's like, you're going to be in glasses your whole life. Like, I was cross-eyed. Like, that's how bad it was. And every year I'd go to the doctor, and every year he's like, I don't know what's happening here, but, like, you're growing out of your glasses, and it's definitely not the glasses that are fixing your eye. And he didn't know what was going on, and he goes, and it was, I think I was like 7. He goes, by the time you're 13, you won't need glasses anymore. And he kept doing more research. He goes, I have a question. What do you do? And you're like, he goes, I know you play sports. At the time, I was a big soccer player. I said, I play video games a lot. And he goes, that's exactly what it is. He goes, there's research being done now that people say, like, oh, you sit too close to the TV, it's going to ruin your eyes. And he goes, the video games, when people find out like what lazy eyes or bad eye problems, it actually strengthens the muscles in your eyes and actually can be a corrective source to actually make it better.
For focusing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I used to wear them all the time. I had the big, thick frame. I always had the worst glasses of all time because I used to break them. I used to break them all the time. So my parents were like, we're not getting you nice ones anymore. Like, you're getting the worst ones ever.
Thank God for high densities, because these things would be about an inch thick.
Yeah. So, I had all the worst ones. And then as I grew up, just got out of it because of the video games. So, yeah. But the cool thing about what you're trying to do, too, is something very similar that I'm trying to do as well. I'm trying to build an audience, and every now and then I'll sneak a post out there about it, but I try not to flood people too much. But I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very thankful that, I mean, one of my pages, the interview one, has, I'm almost at 1,800, I'm at about 1,800 people on Facebook, and I'm closing in on 19, which is crazy because I've only started this since last November. I'm just creeping up on a year. And I always tell people, like, I feel like, and maybe this is, if you look politics, this is a socialism thing, or I don't know how you would look at it, but like, I'm very keen on, like, if everyone just works to help out their neighbor and not so much trying to change the world, you can change the world by working on your immediate first. And if everyone kind of has baby steps. So I look at it this way, like, say if someone says, you know, we had a really bad fire and a family lost everything they had, and my page, because everyone's on Facebook, and my page has 1,800 people, and I put something there, hey, here's a PayPal to help this family, and 1,800 people can do $1. That's a difference.
Right.
That's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Very big.
And that $1,800 goes a long way. Now imagine, and $1's super realistic, but realistically, the average person on a Friday night in this area will go to a bar and throw away $40. Yep. So if you could take half of that and do 10 or 20, and 1,800 people are willing to do a $10 donation, we can make huge differences in our community. Definitely. And if you want, like, hey, we want to change this building, or we want to put a business in, like, you people upset, like, oh, we used to have this, and this, and this. Well, maybe shy away from the online shopping a little bit and go check out your local stores and give your business there. Like, instead of going, I'm not a bash to Dunkin' Donuts, but instead of going to Dunkin' Donuts and getting your coffee, go check out Press Coffee in Pottsville. Yeah. Go check out Sage. Go check out, like, help out your local first.
Mom and pop places.
Yeah, we went to York, Pennsylvania. No, not York. Where the hell were we? I think it was somewhere in Maryland. Now I'm forgetting where we were, but I just remember we walked through the downtown, and it was very similar to Pottsville. It was like a very similar structure. The town was immaculate, super clean. Like, people cared about this downtown section. Yeah. And every single corner, every single window had a little hashtag support local, and that's just what these people did.
Are you talking about Berlin?
It might have been. I'm not sure.
Right outside of Ocean City, Maryland?
It was.
It's Berlin. We were there last year. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit throwback to a setback time. We went there last year for the first time, and let me tell you something. That was nice. Mm-hmm. To get away from the hustle and bustle and just relax. She went into a homemade gourmet coffee shop. Mm-hmm. They had a nice little toy store for the little man. I ate.
Yeah, and everything was support local. Like,
absolutely.
They could have left the town and went to a Walmart or a mall, but that community has really built itself up and saying, instead of going here, let's help out this person.
Right.
And I think that can happen anywhere. Just you got to put the mindset out there for people to do it. So that's like I'm not a musician. I can't go up and shred guitar or drums and bass. But if people like what I do with this podcast and they're enough to support me and support what my visions are, maybe I'm fortunate enough one day if I get big enough that I can do the same thing where I could say, hey, here's a thing that's going on. If everyone donates $1 or $2, we can make a difference. So that's a goal I have. We actually had something very similar. So I'm going to say it wrong again. I think about it. So there's Back in Black Dog Rescue. Back in Black Dog Rescue or something like that. I was calling it Black Dog because they're both two rock songs.
Yeah.
But it's Back in Black Dog Rescue. And what they do is they'll find these dogs from other states that need forever homes or need surgery or need something going on. And then they find people in our area who will let the dog live there for a couple months until they find the forever home so it's not staying in a shelter.
Yeah.
Almost like a foster care.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to do it. If you are strong enough as a person to bring an animal in your house for 6 months and not say, oh, this is living here now, you are the greatest person on planet because I would have 14 dogs.
I actually have a friend that does that in Reading.
Yeah, it's amazing. I would be a blubbering baby if I had to drive a dog that lived with me for 6 months across to somebody else and be like, here, take this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd be like, I don't want to do it.
They
I'd be the
become
same
part
way.
of the family.
Yeah, 100%. But one of the dogs on there had really, really bad cherry eye. It was a little Chihuahua.
I saw that post.
And it was to the point where it couldn't see anymore.
Yeah.
They were that engulfed around the eyes. And all it needed was $150 for the surgery. And I put it out there and I said, here's $20 towards it. And then the one lady I work with, she did 40. And then somebody else, like people on the page, donated to it. I'm like, it was like our first major accomplishment towards the page. And then their people like donated. So they got probably more than they even needed for the surgery, which I was like, yes, like it's working. You know what I mean? So that's, I definitely feel you when it comes to helping local, it is great to do cancer research. It's great to do ALS research, but there's people in our area that can use the same, like when you put it to a major cancer society,
it all doesn't go.
You don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
You don't know where it's going. But
it's the same with like veterans and stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It just goes into so many different avenues. And we do live in a society where, like, remember when the United Way got busted, just pocketing everyone's money, and you're like, man, like, you think you're doing something good, and it's not even being used for the right things. Try to help your backyard a little bit first.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much where where I stand with this, and not to go on the negative side of it, but we put the benefit together for August 31st. Doors will open at 8 p.m. Donation is a standard size new stuffed animal or $5. If any money is collected, that money will go to purchase the stuffed animals to also be donated. I have it out on Facebook. We've all shared it. Lynn McGovern, who's pretty much our side lady, that helps out with a lot of doing our flyers, our scheduling and everything.
She's our dead mother.
Yeah, she went along with me, to help me get a lot of this stuff going for the benefit. We did put boxes together. I looked for donations for boxes, and that's the other thing. Like, you're pushing it out there, constantly posting. You can only do so much on Facebook. We put flyers up for the PR. You want to do your marketing and everything like that, but it's having those other small businesses step in. And unfortunately, we've been pushing this for a couple months now, and we only have 4 boxes out, which isn't, the goal I want it to get to, but it's 4 more than what we had.
Have you tried the Pottsville Library?
I don't have a lot of contacts. I've been trying to contact everyone in between.
This is just something I've recently learned from going to Culture in Pottsville. That'd be probably a cool thing to try too, Culture to Culture. Culture had a night where they brought the lady who's pretty much in charge of the events in the Pottsville library, and what she does is she's very like-minded like us with the same thing, and she's actively trying to find people that can do things, and if there's a project that they can't handle but somebody else is handling it better, she's just trying to make that central hub where you can go in and try to do something similar to this, and she's trying to bring awareness to it as well. I didn't even know that was a resource.
Yeah, it's hard because I've reached out a lot of small businesses in our area, like, hey, would you mind putting a donation box out? either no response or, you know, thanks for the information. That's not really helping what I'm trying to do. You know, even our media, like, you know, our radio station and our newspaper, you know, hey, I'm not asking for any money. I'm not asking, but hey, can you throw a shout out, or, you know, can you do anything to help us? You know,
So
you get a thanks, and it's like, well, that's not where I want to go.
I contacted, we'll just say a local radio station, and they have they have 2 Facebook
Yes,
pages
they do.
you can message. They have 4 emails that you can contact every person that works there. I've sent emails to every single one of them. I contacted both their Facebook pages. But here's the thing with the Facebook pages. Facebook snitches on you. So I know if you read it.
Yep, you can see it.
And they don't respond to it.
I've had a lot of that, even with trying to get other emergency, you know, volunteer companies involved with the fire companies. I've private messaged a lot of them, and you can see that they've seen the post. And this isn't to be negative. This is just to put it out there. But
No,
for me,
absolutely.
thinking like, hey, if these smaller businesses will, you know, take a donation box, and that person's not going to just come in there and put a stuffed animal. And like you said, if it's a coffee shop, oh, well, I'm in here now. I'm gonna try out their coffee, or I'm gonna, you know, try whatever they have here, and that's gonna bring more business into your business by
And it's
just
free
helping.
to
you
put a
know.
box in your business.
So
Yeah.
we do have 4 boxes out, you know, for those who either work at these places or, you know somebody that worked there. You know, don't
Can we
be
give the
afraid.
places like a shout
Don't
out?
be afraid to, you know, donate or give to someone that is there. So the 4 places that we do have at this time is Hydro down in Cursona, which is, you know, was Sapa. So we have
Which our guitar player
a
works
decent
at.
place at. Yep. We have one at the STI in Frackville,
Which our singer works at.
I have one at my workplace in the lunchroom, which is Hidden River Credit Union. And we also have one, which is the only jump on it that I got when I did put it out there, and is the place where I actually go to get my hair done. And the girl that does my hair, Jen, over at Shea Fagada's in Minersville at the King's Plaza, she goes, I definitely want a box.
Thank you,
And
Jen.
I said, thank you, Jen.
What's Jen's last name?
Jen, oh my God, Jen, I'm sorry I forget your last name right now.
Not Challenge. Is it not Challenger, right?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm just having a mental
I didn't know where
blank
Jen. I didn't know
right
where
now.
that Jen worked. I know she's a hairstylist as well.
Jen DiStefano.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not
Yes.
very easy to remember, so that's even great.
But Chris Bishop's woman used to work there. I don't know if she's
Kira,
still there
yeah.
part-time,
Yep.
but yeah, a lot of great people over there. So we do have 4 boxes out there. Also, you know, the night of the event,
Bring
we'll
him to the
take
night of the
in.
event. You know, if that's the thing too, and that's a huge thing. I can definitely speak on is like a lot of times. You know, my goal is, like I said, I'm trying to put myself over more than anything else. Not myself. I'm trying to put others over more than myself. And there's just so many things out there, but it does take community. If you want people to support your local business, the best way to market yourself is put yourself out there and help work with other people. Yeah. Like if I would have started this podcast and just said I'm going to sit at my table and talk to myself for since November, I'd probably have 13 listeners. You know what I mean? I'll probably have more than that because I'm a workaholic and I'll promote the hell out of myself. But having people on and bringing people and opening the doors to your community is what's helped me grow. And the more we do that, you bring other attention to different platforms, and it's I think more local businesses need to do that. You know.
And as a local band too, I mean, we love to play. We have to love what we do to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you make a couple bucks, it's nice to make a couple bucks. That's great. But when you can put yourself out there to try to help someone else out, you're not only helping out yourself, you're helping out other people, and then others see that. You know, and may want you to be involved in other things. So we've been involved in a lot of things, and a lot of doors are opening for us now, which is really nice. But with some of the other bands that we have that jumped on board with us, which I do have, Billy Trey, my son, who's gonna do a set with
He
us.
really loves that shirt.
He does, and he wears it well. And
All the time.
I think he has it on today, actually.
Again?
He does. We have Rude Groove. We actually, Danny and Jim were a part of Adrenalyn at one time
For many years.
for many years. Skin and Bones from up north.
Dirty rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, awesome guys, awesome bands. I mean, these guys
they
are all
do all the nationals up there. They play like Sherman Theater and stuff like that.
Nice.
They're really good.
Sherman Theater's a blast.
Yeah,
It's a
they,
cool
they
venue.
open for Night Ranger there. Who else did they open?
I just missed Steel Panther up there. I just missed them.
yeah.
I'm so bummed.
And they
Oklahoma Girl.
and Skin and Bones, they're also another band that gets involved in their community because
Yep.
they just did a benefit. What was it called?
Was it Swine Fest?
Was it Swine Fest?
I believe so. They do it
I
at
didn't,
Every
like a
year?
one
know that
guy's
was a
house.
benefit.
Oh wow.
I didn't know that was a benefit.
Yes,
They do
and
that,
they've
and
done
they
long
I
time.
read where they collected a lot of like cat, dog food and stuff like that.
Yep.
I just read an article
local
on that.
shelters.
Yeah,
They do a
Faith.
lot.
Just if it's a positive thing, I'll put out there as well. They don't have a date set yet, but possibly in 2 or 3 months, the boys from Faith in Exile are going to try to do a show at Strikers to benefit local animal shelters. So, Andy, a lot of I don't know if he's comfortable with me putting it out there, but I'm going to because I think it's a good thing. Andy actually is paying for the sponsorship spot at Skookstock for the SPCA to be there, so they get exposure. So he's really passionate about the local animal shelters. They do a lot of cool stuff. But
I don't stalk or anything, but we're all friends on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
but I do get a kick out of looking at because I guess they're big into fostering the animals,
Mm-hmm.
him and his woman, and I like seeing that people
Yeah.
are out there to take care of what she had rabbits on there, she has dogs, she has cat, tons, and it's like
Oh,
if
she's
you
an angel.
if you can do it,
Yeah.
go for it. I think that's awesome.
If she would like to take 2 more cats because they destroyed my fucking house,
Do we have a cuss jar?
I'll be broke by the end of this one.
I should do that. Put a curse jar, and that can go towards equipment. I would have.
There you go.
Man,
I would have.
Billy,
That'd be
you
better
could've
than
made a
your
lot of money.
GoFundMe page.
Yeah, I'd be putting more money in than anybody though.
I'd be broke.
I didn't count all the times.
Or you
Billy
could call
said
your
the F word,
GoFundMe
so.
page the cuss jar.
Yeah, the cuss jar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time that you hear a curse that offends you, you put a
Yeah,
dollar.
that
in.
person has to put $1 in your GoFundMe.
That's a great idea. The cuss jar. I like that.
Give me a pound.
I like it a lot. I like that. But yeah, so August 31st, it's a 21 and over event. Doors are going to open at 8 p.m. at Goodfellas Warehouse. Like she said, Adrenalyn, Skin and Bones. What's this one called?
Root
Rude
Groove.
Rude Groove. Was it?
Rude
Groove. Okay. And our buddy Billy is going to open the show with his beautiful acoustics, probably, right? Acoustic show?
And comedy act.
And a comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge. I gave a lot of stickers away. I put a lot of money into different stickers, and it's really cool every time he does a little video on Facebook of him playing his guitar, right there on the camera, interviews with everyday people. So I love that plug every time. I always make a joke what's that shitty podcast sticker you have on there?
You should actually come out to the event and put up a table for yourself and stuff.
I don't have anything really to sell, but I'll definitely come out and hang out.
Just to get yourself exposure. And
Yeah,
stuff,
100%.
Just come on out.
I just walk around with the shirt on.
You're more than welcome to.
I hate doing that. I know I feel so weird.
You should walk around and do interviews because,
There you go.
Yeah.
Here's
We
the
can work
thing.
together on
That's
this.
my goal with my equipment. My next are you a Marvel fan? Like the
Yeah,
Marvel
a
movies?
little bit.
So you know how they call phase 1, phase 2, phase 3? Like this is phase 1 of our podcast. Like phase 2, I'm getting you're a musician, so you probably the Zoom 8.6s. It's like a little tiny, and you could play. It's all XLR, and you could put microphones. So I found one on Amazon. It's expensive, but it comes with 4 lapel mics.
Yeah.
And I can literally just hold it in my hand and literally walk up to somebody in any environment because it's a lapel. It's only going to pick up what's in front of them. So if I'm in a loud environment, I can literally just walk up, clip it on something like, hey, do you want to go talk for 15 minutes? And we can go somewhere and do an interview on the spot. So that's my next stage is to when I'm out with places, people are like, hey, do you have 5 minutes? I can talk to you about something. And I can,
You could be the roving reporter on the benefit.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
When we all get together, we start drinking.
We might have to ban you from
gets-
backstage though.
It gets a little crazy.
I'm not sitting on those
Especially
couches
with the Skin and
back.
Bones guys.
I heard horror stories.
It gets a little crazy.
And another good thing about these types of shows too is it's a good way because a lot of we don't get a chance to see a lot of other bands because of our schedule too. It's this is a good way for us to all to get together and see each other play.
Yeah, that's the big thing with Skookstock too. A lot of people are like, "What are you excited about?" I've never seen this band, and I can't wait to see them because I've heard good things. One of the bands on our set list is Japan 4, and they were locked into the Memorabilia thing.
Eddie was in.
Yeah,
Japan
and
4.
a lot of people I personally didn't know how awesome Japan 4 was until their last 3 shows, and I was like, oh my god, why did I take so long? So I seen them right before Eddie left, where Eddie was frontman. I was like, holy shit, Eddie's an awesome frontman because I know he's great at everything else. And then I seen them with Mike Danger twice with Mike Danger, and I was like, they're super high energy. They're crazy. Like that's a fun band. So there's a lot of.
I miss Mike Danger. He's back in New York, isn't he?
He's actually going to be out here for Spooksuck. So
cool.
he's really doing a lot.
I'm
with
buying
the,
my ticket then just to see Mike Danger.
Yeah. I love that dude to death, man. And he's really taking it seriously with his videos and photography and stuff. He's really, I mean, his video, he did a Crowbot video. How awesome was that? Like,
oh, he did both of them, didn't they?
Just the one.
Just the one?
The newest one was done by somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's the thing.
The hell with it. We'll just say it's done by Mike Danger.
Yeah, that's the thing he's doing though. He's like, if there's people in the area that are like bands and they want to do like a promotional video or even just like something they could put on their face, like he puts his services out there for people to hire him to do that. Like the big thing on Facebook is, I don't know how to do it, but you know your banner on Facebook, you can make that at a video.
Yeah,
right.
And like he helps bands with that. Like I'll come to one of your things and record the audio and get some cool shots and put together a little 30-second montage of your band.
Yeah.
So like if anyone's looking for anything, Mike Danger, he'll come back home to do some work and if you pay him, that he gets to come see all of his friends too. So that's do that. I like when he's back. Yeah. So he'll be at Skookstock. He'll be doing some photography and video work.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I love these local events, man. There's so many good ones going on. Like I said, this is the right after Skookstock, so definitely I'll put it out there too. Did you need this one?
Nope.
You
can
got
have
that.
one.
I'll put this on our thing at the stage too. I'll talk about it there.
Very cool. Very cool.
You know, this falls on the same exact day as last year's.
Was it?
It does,
31st.
yeah. It was
That is
August
weird.
31st.
That is
And I
weird.
remember it being a freaking steam bath.
See, I thought it was September 2nd.
No,
'cause
it was 31st.
I beg to differ, but
Well,
No,
I
but
think
it
the
was
difference
in
is-
September.
it was September because it was a September to Remember was the name of it.
That's right.
September 2nd.
I'm the one
I
that-
win.
She nailed it.
That's right.
Listen,
But in talking about all this too, I want to throw a shout out there to Rob Hampton because he's been a really big help with us with a lot of things.
Same.
Thank you, Rob.
Internally,
I've
Internally
known
with the
Rob
business.
for like ever.
yeah, we've all been around for years, but you know, the business end of it, he's really been a one-on-one, hands with me with that, and it's great to have somebody to
I
ask
would agree.
questions
Yeah.
with.
With this show,
Like every show that he plays, he always, he plugs
He's
us.
been helping us a lot.
same here. He with the Skookstock. I was like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I've never done this. And he's like, I'll give you some pointers here and there. I'm not gonna let you sink. Like, he's a super helpful dude.
But definitely with our website, I mean everything.
Yeah.
He's always reached out, and if there's anything I can help with, with him, I always do the same thing. Whether it's banking or anything, like if I can lend a hand to help someone out.
And he's a guy who's not originally from our
Great.
area, who's literally who he himself was trying to revamp the music scene.
Yeah,
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
and it's getting there too.
Yeah.
It's really getting there.
We need venues to
Yeah.
take it as seriously as the bands are.
I really think we need an all-age venue
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yep.
I think actually there was one in Tamaqua, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. But the problem is, and this is not a bash or a knock at the crowd, but the Pottsville people need to realize there's other towns besides Pottsville, and if something's going on outside your city, you should probably support it as well.
Yeah.
Because people travel to your city to support your big events.
Mhm.
It's time for the people to start branching out a little bit.
Yep.
Consider yourself United States, and the rest of us are third world countries. And you have the people, the power, and the funds to do it. You should probably help out the rest of Gold County as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we should all support local
100%.
live music.
If there's a band playing in your area in Monty City, go support it.
Yep. If your favorite band isn't in the area that night, go see another band.
Yeah,
Just check it out. You might be missing something that you'll dig.
yeah.
I think the biggest problem right now, and watch Mike pucker on this one, these club owners and managers need to start promoting shows,
Yep.
because you cannot ask us to do it 100%. It's a 50-50 road here.
Yeah, that's my thing too. Is another thing that bothers me, and the reason why I wanted Skookstock to maybe give some bands some support. I don't understand how a bar owner will be like, hey, I don't advertise anything in my bar Monday through Sunday. I'm going to put a band in here on a Saturday night. I'm not going to spend a dime or do anything to promote it. But when the band shows up, I'm going to give them $150, which isn't even going to cover the band's to get there, to set up all their stuff, and probably the money they're going to put into advertising it on their own.
Yeah.
So, like, at the end of the day, like, if you're a bar owner, you would have just had so many, like, the band's going to bring people into your bar. And I understand, it's a business and you got to make money. But even if you put a cover at the door of $2 or $3, like I know some bars they'll say, well, we'll take 25% of the door and then you guys get the rest. Give the band the door, because the people are in there to see that band anyway. Like, bands are just getting ripped off left and right when it goes to certain bars, and like you said, they're not promoting. No. They don't promote, or they don't take care of their venue. So people come to see your I don't care if you don't clean your whole bar the whole week, but if you're gonna have people there on a Saturday, you should probably fix it up a little bit, because people will be like, yo, this is a really nice place. I came to see this band. The bar was really nice. They were really supportive. Like,
we've already went through that point where, not mentioning any names, but we have already, put our time out there to clean tables and chairs and make sure things looked nice for an
never
an event.
Again.
And I have no problem doing that. Yeah. Like, if I don't have time to do this, I don't have a problem stepping in if it's going to help.
There was a venue. There's a venue. I have a very set, and I didn't even grow up in this venue. I didn't experience the big shows in this venue, but there's a venue in this area that I feel is now a gold mine. It's always been, and it always will be. The owner's a nice guy, but I don't feel he's taking his venue as seriously as he does. And if he just put a little bit of effort into it and fixed some things up and made it presentable, that could be a cash cow. Yep. And every person in the area wants to play that venue. But when the people come and they're like, man, this is this, like they say, oh, maybe there's something new here because bands are showing up again. And they walk through the front door and they go,
it's the same as it
was. It's the same exact place. How much for a beer? What? I can go to this bar and get the same, I can walk 13 steps and get the same beer for a couple dollars cheaper. So it's a bad taste in their mouth, and it sucks because that's such a good, it's a good thing. There's no, since Trippin's no longer there, you lost the venue there. Woody's can't really do bands because they get sound ordinances all the time.
We know that.
Yeah.
We know that for a fact.
You know what I mean? And but Woody's was a fun place to play, but it's tight. You can't get as many people.
I'll tell you when we played Woody's, I went in there with the tiniest little practice amp.
And the cops still came.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. The only other place that I think that could rival or be a big venue, and is what's that little Ambits on top of the hill in Pottsville?
Ambits.
Yeah, the Ambits.
Yeah, where they have the drag shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that could do well for bars. The stadium with the big balcony.
He won't do bands no more. You talking to one on Peacock Street there?
Yeah,
across from Woody's.
Yeah, up the street.
He won't do bands no more. I tried talking him into doing one show there. He's had it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to take in consideration where we came from in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Every place.
400 or 500 people in.
You had the Brass Tap. You had the stadium. There was bands everywhere, every bar, every weekend.
And now the
2-3
Plaza's
nights
a
a
bank.
week. You had the Plaza. You had Pine Lane.
Strikers is good, but you can only put so many people in there too. It's
we've gone over that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you, since I've been really, really passionate in going to the music scene and going to see bands probably every weekend for the past, maybe not 5 years, because 3 of those years I've pretty much lived with the boys upstairs. But I don't think I've ever went to a band and had a fight break out or anything really crazy.
I mean, it's toned down a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, from what it used to be. I mean, I can tell you a story that happened in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was actually the original Adrenalyn. And we had a riot break out.
Really?
In the stadium on Peacock Street, where they told us to stop playing.
Wow.
Because at that time, we were an aggressive band back then.
Was it a riot or was a pit opened up?
It looked like a battle royal.
Really?
Yeah. It was awesome. But
ding, ding, ding.
But I didn't want to see nobody get hurt.
Yeah,
but the whole thing was, he wanted us to tone down our set, and we didn't know how to.
Yeah.
We ripped into Pantera, and just all chaos broke loose.
But back then, I mean, that's how most of the places are that played. It was like a pit. Like, everybody was up in front of the stage. Like,
having a good time.
And you don't see that no. Well, you see it some,
The reason why, Mike, is nobody had these back then.
Yeah. The only way I like people using their cell phones is like texting their friends to get their asses over to the bar. That's what
I'll open it and take maybe a 30-second video just to be like, hey, here's where I am, come here. Or I take a couple pictures of the band and I say, hey, this is where I was this weekend. And I usually say I went to see this band and tag it on their social media.
And that's completely fine. We love seeing that too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah, I that's my thing is maybe the one venue I don't try to get as close as I used to anymore because if you get super close, you can't hear anything. Because it's the way the sound's set up, but yeah. So I try to stay. Sometimes I stay a little further back just so I can hear. But yeah, I love it, man. The music scene is big now as it ever was. There's so many talented bands in our area, in Pottsville area.
And like I said, it's getting there, but it used to be huge.
Mm-hmm. It was every weekend, no matter. There could be 10 bands playing in Pottsville, for example.
Yeah.
Each place had over 300 people in them.
Yeah.
And this is on one night.
It's crazy though that people go absolutely bananas for a block party. They're like, I can't wait for block party season because we can go see the bands. You can go see those same bands every weekend.
You know what though? It's dying.
Yeah.
We just noticed this
over the weekend
and a prior weekend, and I stood there in amazement going, I remember coming here a couple of years ago with my son when he was like 2, and it was packed. There was people everywhere. Everybody was having a good time. And this one, there was, 100 people?
Wow.
I was talking to like mutual musician friend that had to, he played a block party and I just stood there.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I said, it's going downhill. I mean, just what we were talking about with the community and helping each other out. A lot of people aren't volunteering anymore for the for the fire companies, and there's not many to help run the block parties.
Yep.
So everything's going downhill, and it's a shame because then like your kids don't get to experience the things that you got to do when you were younger.
That's how younger people like they go out and see the block parties, they see the bands, it's like, oh, I can't wait till I'm 21 until I can go out to the bar and see the bands. That's how I was.
Yeah.
Well, I went to the bars. But bring it back to the Plaza days. Well, first time I saw it was a bank. I almost cried like a little girl. I was like, man, I used to sneak in there when I was 15 to see Harpo,
I used to, my parents would be bowling, I'd hear the music, and I'd go in and act like I was ordering food, and I'd be peeking, and I would sneak in a little bit, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just want to see the music. They're like, get out of here.
Mike actually stuck me in a bar before I was 21. I think I was still in high school when you played with Cold Gin.
Yeah, I was a band I was in at the time. We were opening for Cold Gin before I was in.
Oh, that was before, yeah.
And he was actually in the mall.
Get me in. He got me in. I was hook, line, and sinker then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just slapped a pass on him.
What inspired you guys to pick up your instruments?
Kiss.
Kiss? Favorite Kiss song?
Got to choose off of Hotter Than Hell.
I have 2 Kiss songs. I like Stutter a lot. Or Strutter,
yeah.
And I like Hell's on Fire.
Heaven's on Fire?
Heaven's on Fire, yeah. I love it. I like that song.
And I'll be hearing that song. Well, we'll all be hearing that song.
We'll all be hearing it.
Next Wednesday down at Hershey.
Yep.
They're playing Hershey?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Kiss is in Hershey.
Yeah.
We've even taken my little man with us.
Wow. I'm actually going to be in... I won't be seeing Kiss, but I will be at a concert on Sunday at Hershey. I'm going to go see the Backstreet Boys with my wife.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
As long as you're going to support music.
Yeah.
Here's the whole thing.
I owe her big time. See,
I owe this one big time too because she really didn't want to go see Kiss. So
Really?
I kind of owe her one. So
Yeah.
as long as it's not Green Day,
You don't like Green Day?
I hate them.
I would go.
I've been
Green
trying.
Day.
I was like, come on, we got to do. Some
I want to
Green
throw
Day.
up
'Cause
every time I
the-
hear them. I'm sorry. I don't belittle anybody for liking. I just personally don't
The
care
pop
for them.
punk stuff is going over like crazy right now.
Hell, I want emo music to come back in the worst way. The sad white boy music. I love it.
I love AFI.
Yeah.
I love AFI. They're actually touring with Smashing Pumpkins right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta go see more bands, but the problem is I spread myself too thin. But I wanted to see Blink. I wasn't able to see Blink. But like I said, I drug my wife to 4 Steel Panther shows.
Nice.
3 Steel Panther shows. And then she took me. I owe her 3. So the first one we went to go see Kesha and Macklemore.
I love Kesha.
I didn't like her. So I hear Kesha.
I had a crush on her. Yeah. I still do. Actually.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Oh man.
But Kesha on the radio is that a really whiny voice, and I'm just like, I can't listen to that.
I can look past it.
Right. So I was just everything she played of Kesha was just that whiny voice in every song, and I was like,
I can look past it. It said the only single man in the room.
Yeah. I said, this is going to be a nightmare. And I said, but I really like Macklemore because he's like, I like his, like, he's a very positive rapper, and there's not many people out there like that do it. A lot of people don't like the rap community doesn't like him. I think because he is positive. Right? He's like talks about drug addiction and how he overcame it, and just he has very uplifting songs.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know who that is.
He did a song Thrift Shop. I'm gonna pop some.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard that one.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he's really good. He had a song that was all about like the gay marriage, like how his uncle was gay and how he just trying to change the culture of people like using gay or fag and because as a derogatory term or stuff like that. It was a really good song. But he did a song with Kesha, and they were on tour because they did the single together and they were working. So Kesha comes out first, and her band starts playing. Which, here's my thing: if you're a pop person, record your music with a band. It sounds so much better.
Yeah,
it sounds like the same song I heard in the radio that I didn't really like because with her whiny voice and because it was done with a beat machine. I heard live on stage with an actual band.
It sounds so much better.
It was amazing, and her voice is fucking phenomenal. So whoever's idea was it for her to do that whiny distortion voice should be fired. Well, he probably was because it was the same management that was like. So she just came back from a huge hiatus because her manager was like sexually assaulting her and like doing horrible things to her. And she got away from he had a legal binding agreement on her, but she couldn't sue him. It was a really messy thing. But she finally got away from it, and then she started going on tour again. Yeah, she has an amazing voice. Mm-hmm. So what you hear on the radio is not what I experienced.
She's a rock chick.
She can play guitar. Mm-hmm. She comes out and plays guitar. She did a complete cover of Dolly Parton. Is it Josephine? I didn't want to take your man or something like that. Yeah. She did a cover of that. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. She's super talented. Like I left there like, oh, I have more appreciation for Kesha now. Yeah. And the Macklemore, it started pouring down rain, and he's like, they tried to, and the next day Hershey flooded. Yeah. Because all the rain they got the night before, and he was like, we're from Seattle. In Seattle, we don't run away from the rain. We embrace it. And he goes, as long as you guys are here, we're here. We're gonna have a good time. And they played the whole show in the rain. Cool. It was so much fun. But yeah. So now I'm going to go see the Backstreet Boys with her on Sunday. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. I'll secretly be singing some of them.
Nice. I know some of them too.
Another one that I missed that I wanted to go see. But actually, I'll probably get a chance to see it. I wanted to go see the Goo Goo Dolls.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to see them, but
they're with Train right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Like Train a lot.
But the Goo Goo Dolls will be coming back around in the fall.
They were almost the Pottsville band. Not better than Ezra. That's the rumors.
Yeah.
I don't know how true it is. That would have been cool.
That definitely would have been cool.
Yeah. Another cool one I want to see. I almost spent the money to go to Vegas to see them. There's a band that I must see before they're done. Is Aerosmith.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I love Aerosmith.
That was my first concert.
That's my first CD I ever bought.
1988. It was at Pocono Downs. My mom takes me. I'm 12 years old. Guns N' Roses opens up for them on the Appetite for Destruction tour.
All right, Guns N' Roses or Motley Crue? Who you picking?
Guns N' Roses. They kick their ass any day.
What about you?
Well, I saw Motley. I never saw Guns N' Roses.
I would love that.
Now it would be the Guns N' Roses from the 80s.
Now my first Motley show, it was at Pocono Downs with Whitesnake opening.
Motley Crue just makes me want to do things. I want to run through walls when I hear
Motley.
Now I'll tell you.
Don't get me wrong. I love Motley Crue.
I love Motley Crue, but I had no desire to see them on their last tour.
Oh, have you heard him sing?
Horrible.
It's not good.
It's not that. It's just the set list. And Nikki Sixx just became like a whiny little bitch about everything, and it just turned me off.
The movie was good though.
It was.
I liked it.
It was all right.
They even said there was a lot of embellishments, but they said they had a good time. Like I love Mick Mars. That guy's
he's badass.
He's an inspiration.
Yeah.
Man.
Definitely.
Yeah, someone who goes through joint pain and body pain every day, and that guy just fucking living it every day the best he can.
Ripping it up.
Yeah, he's an animal.
He had both hips replaced.
Mm-hmm. He's crazy, and his disorder is what, like, his body's like literally feels like it's filling up with concrete.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every joint, every little crevice there, it's. Ugh.
Yeah. It's got. It's. I mean, I have a small scale of what he has, and I can't even imagine it. But yeah, I'd love to see. And then another band I want to see. They're supposed to be done, and then they're talking about doing one more tour with the original, not original singer, but the singer, AC/DC, supposedly going back out with Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
I have to see them.
I heard they're going to be doing another record, and they're going to dedicate it to Malcolm, like they did with Back in Black with Bon Scott.
Yeah.
That's what I hear, and I know Phil Rudd is back drumming, and
Axl didn't do
He
bad
actually
as
did
Phil.
really well.
It was
He
good.
did really well.
It was good.
He did do really
I
well.
mean, it wasn't
And
the same, but it was good.
Yeah.
But he brought back a lot
Of the old Bon Scott.
The Bon Scott stuff.
Yes.
See, I'm a Bon Scott fan.
Me too.
I love Bon Scott.
I like Back in Black. They're a cool
Yes.
time because they have the singer that can do both.
Actually, in September we're gonna be doing this biker thing with Halfway to Hell.
Oh, okay, nice.
We're doing a whole set, and they're doing a whole set.
Awesome.
So
In the area?
that's gonna be in Milton.
Okay.
It's
That's
for the Abate Motors. Is that the Abate?
Yes, at the Susquehanna Motorcycle
That I
Club.
believe has something to do with the children too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what EBATE stands for, but it's
Yeah.
educational something.
Okay.
But that's September 28th.
28th,
And
yeah.
it's $30.
But it's a pig roast, but you have to bring your
BYOB.
own beer.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm cool with
But
that
I
too
think
because
it's
they don't
2
want to
days,
promote. They don't want to
actually.
promote the alcohol thing.
There's other
Which
bands
is cool.
there.
Yeah.
So
Is there any bands that you haven't seen or that you have seen? Obviously, besides you don't get to say Kiss, but like one of your favorite shows you've seen that you were surprised.
That I was surprised.
Yeah, like you're like, I went to go see them, but I didn't think they were going to be as good as they were. If anyone else has any,
One show, it actually like in the late 90s, early 2000s, I kind of went through like a reinvention kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like it was either that or like sell my stuff, because I was gonna quit playing, because I was just like sick of playing the 80s stuff for a while, know. And I went to see Nonpoint, Seven Dust, and Fuel up at the Wachovia Center up in Wilkes-Barre. And Nonpoint and Seven Dust just like completely blew me away.
Didn't Bishop tattoo the singer of Seven Dust?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Which is awesome.
Yeah. And if you ever meet Seven, they're the greatest bunch of guys too. And they just like completely like I like. I think I'm gonna go a little bit heavier now.
Yeah, it brought you to a new style of
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
Yeah. How about you guys?
Definitely.
Okay.
I've worked with a lot of bands and played with a lot of bands, on stage. So it's hard for me to
Pinpoint one.
to pick one. I really can't say I have a favorite band, or
Who
anything
besides
like that.
besides the
but
obvious the Collins connection? Who inspired you to play drums? Was there like a
basically,
drummer?
it was. I was young at the time. I think I was around like 8 or 9. We lived in Hazleton. And I used to go to practice with my dad. My dad played in bands, and I loved going to practice with my dad. Anything that had to do with the music. My brother had his set upstairs in his room. Well, when he wasn't home, I would just kind of go up and mess around a little bit because it's a competition. I got a brother.
Yeah.
It was all boys around me, so that pretty much where I started was. Doing that and just going around with my dad, roadieing with my dad, then picking it up in school, taking some lessons in school, playing in school bands, and then, getting asked to join a band. And I went from there, and then I just did as much,
And I remember that band too.
Yeah, Branded Planet was my first band with Jim Heller, who we're playing with. He's in Rude Groove now, and Dave Rollins from Carlisle. I was probably 15 or 16. Playing out in the bars.
That's how long I've known Carrie.
It's been a long time.
I've known him longer. I went to
We
high
sat
school with
in
him.
class together.
But yeah, so like my whole thing was more or less being around the bands, like and Squeak and my dad. Like Squeak's a big influence for me. Drummer for Sapphire. I roadied for him for years. I babysat his kids. His kids babysat my kids. It's like a big family, like an extended family, and. you know, if you need something, you know who you can go to for.
They're a fun
for
band too,
things.
Sapphire.
Oh yeah.
And I remember like going to the JFK pool like years, and I saw Keith play with Pyramix.
Pyramix.
Yeah.
Yep.
And because I knew Keith before I knew her,
Mm-hmm.
and I just, you know,
The first local band that I seen that I could remember, I couldn't tell you who was in it. I just remember the name of the band. Rhymes with Orange.
Yep.
but we went to high school with them.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to fill in with them a couple times. Let me tell you, what a blur.
I seen them play at the Citizens Block
In Monty
Party
City.
in Monty City.
And it was
we
mobbed.
actually just did a benefit with Russ Weichel, the singer.
Really?
Yeah, that was at the Fractal Elks.
Yeah. All I remember is the singer at the time. He was a very big guy. He had
Yeah.
long hair. He was on the not big, but he was a bigger. He was pretty tall too, if I'm not mistaken.
He still is, and he still has the same long hair.
And they called him the Big Show.
Yep.
Yeah, they called because he looked like before, right when the Big Show transitioned. There's our wrestling reference. When he transitioned from WCW to WF,
Right.
He had the long hair, and he went from the Giant to the Big Show.
Well, hold on.
yeah,
It was the giant Paul White.
then the Big
then
Show.
the Big Show.
Yeah, and then he was on stage going, they're like, "Here's our singer. This is Paul White. Everyone, you know him as the Big Show." And as a kid, I was like, wrestling. And they did like Kid Rock. They did like all the cool stuff that was popular at the time. I just remember like they were a fun time.
And that's actually the kind of the stuff that's coming back too around.
Yeah.
I don't want to get
Like
off
that
track
kind.
with it or anything, but to bring up like you're doing the Skookstock thing and you know the yearly events like Swinestock and that. But back in that era when you were talking about Rhymes with Orange, they just pulled out an archive from the other day, and we used to do Rock the Block, and that was like the
Shamokin.
same thing in Shamokin, and like tons of bands. Where I played with Octagon Speed Check.
I played with the original Uppercut.
And it's funny how things go around in circles because when I played with Octagon Speed Check, our current singer now, John Marinick, was actually the singer in that band that I played in at that time. So it's like everything
community.
goes in a
I
circle.
never played Rock the Block. I never did.
And
It was fun.
Let's hope
Hailstorm, I think, was
Skookstock-
actually
Ooh,
on that.
Hailstorm,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were on it,
Yeah.
and they were kids, and
She was like 13.
and she wasn't
Yeah.
a very
I
very
remember playing,
personable person. She wasn't very nice. So I'm not going to be negative about people, but
And her
Yeah.
dad
some
looked
people
like
had
Howard
attitudes.
Stern.
Did he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And wouldn't he
But-
play bass? The dad?
I'm not sure.
The dad was really nice. Like
But he looked like Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But her and the brother were just little,
Entitled.
like if you want to say little brat kids.
Yeah.
Like that's how I took it at that
I
time.
remember playing a Toys for Tots gig down at the Alexanders in Lebanon, and they were on the bill, and Dead Leaves were on the bill. Yeah, and that was
Everybody would have. That was one of the bands that we were possibly going to reach out to for Skookstock, Dead Leaves. Yeah.
yeah. They do sporadic stuff.
I honestly like if Skookstock happens again, awesome. I'm down with it. We'll do it again. But
We're down.
another thing too, man. I hope this inspires people. Like I hope this is like, oh, they did the Skookstock thing. We'd love to bring back Rock a Block. I hope this starts a trend saying, hey, if these bands are willing to do this, like maybe even for next year's Skookstock, I would even like to like take a page out of your book. We're like, hey, let's pick a charity.
Yeah.
And all the ticket sales go to the charity. You know what I mean?
I think we should do a benefit for anxiety and depression.
Yeah, like I'm
Awareness.
very passionate with that, and
Me too.
and suicide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, suicide's a crazy thing. Like I lost.
I'll tell you what. That was the most scared I've ever been in my life around that time.
Yeah, that's something I struggled with for a long time, was the suicidal stuff. Like it's still something that every now and then I start to see myself spiral. I'm like, oh, I got to pull out of this because it's not going to end good. But like,
It'll get you.
yeah, one of the biggest awakening things for me when I was like, man, like this is not something I needed to make a change is when Chester killed himself.
Yeah.
Because I was like, so growing up, my dad was a DJ. So this is the big thing going back with you. Like I feel like whatever the kid's environment is and what they grow up, they're gonna gravitate to. Like, I think as parents, you have a very big influence. So that's why if I tell people like, oh, if I had a kid, I don't play instruments, but I would probably have like a piano or a guitar sitting in the corner somewhere. And if the kid wanted to pick it up, I wouldn't be like, don't touch that, it's worth money, because that's you're crushing a dream, you're crushing a possible talent before it starts. Like I was telling like Billy and even with like Eddie when I interviewed your dad, I could imagine like if I lived in a household, there's instruments everywhere. Like, oh, I could just pick one up and start toying around.
Probably every room.
You know what I mean? And I was like, that's got to be a huge reason why the whole family is so musically talented. Like, and your dad didn't really say he pushed it on you guys.
No, he never
but
did.
But the accessibility to do it was there.
Your
Like,
dad always invites me down to see the archives all the time.
I told him I love his Facebook where he puts all the cool
I think
stuff
it
out
was
there.
more of like a support thing. Like, it wasn't like you need to play something or you need to do something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was big into sports.
Yeah.
And I mean, my parents weren't really into sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, they may have been at a couple things, but they weren't there. But I did it because I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So, but as far as the music thing, like, they were always supportive of whatever we chose to do. Like, I went out for football. My mom was all cool with it, but my brother couldn't go out for football. It was just like a weird situation back then. But it was more of the support thing. Like, no matter what we chose to do, it was always, the support was there. And that's how I am for Billy. Like, I don't care what you choose to do in your life. Like, what you choose to do, obviously you're going to, if it's something bad, consequences are yours. But if
Yeah.
it's something that you want to do, I'm not going to tell you, no, you can't do
Mhm.
it. If you think you can do it.
That's a huge correlation to very successful people as well. Like, one of the biggest things I asked him is how much support did you have going to do what you did? And if you had a parent who was like, don't pick up an instrument that they don't make any money, that's not you're not going to have the most same successes if you're a parent.
Well,
saying,
it's actually harder now to make
Yeah.
money at it.
yeah, but I mean, on the same token, it's hard to make money now, but it's I think it's not easier, but it could be easier to get noticed because of social media, where you can make a video of you doing a cover, put it to the internet, and it can you have
Yeah.
the chance
Goes
to go on
viral
viral
and-
every time.
So
You
it's
know?
like there's no record companies no more
Yeah.
to push anything. I think
But a lot
I
of
think the
people-
last band that got the big, deal record company push, I thought it was Breaking Band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I talked to somebody. We sold our back. We had like a big furniture thing in our back porch here, and we sold it to a guy and his wife. And they came up and like, "Oh, we're big, Breaking Ben fans." I'm like, "Oh, I heard he's kind of a dick, like Ben." And they're like, "Oh, that was his reputation back in the day. He wasn't the best person." But they said they went to the meet and greet, and he was like, he's a completely different. Like, I guess he's changed a little bit. Like,
Well, he has some kind of ailment going on right now
Yeah.
where we watched some kind of interview where that was almost the end of the band.
I've never met
Yeah.
Ben, but I know Aaron, the bass player.
I met the original bass player, Bug,
Oh, Bug, yeah, I know Bug.
because Bug used to play with Randy.
Yeah.
In a Head Plug.
Yeah.
That was the first band I was old enough to go see perform. And I remember I seen Randy. I was like, man, this guy's fucking crazy. And then years later, I went and seen Cyanide, and I seen Jaybird on stage, and I was like, that guy's he's really good on stage. He reminds me of, like I was telling my cousin's Brian Roach. He used to tattoo at a custom, and I was like, Roach, I said, that guy reminds me a lot of your buddy in the other band, that Randy guy. And he goes, oh yeah, they're best friends. So I was like, oh, like you see where like that group started to start pulling from each other a little bit. And I miss so many cool bands that I hear about now, like Kissing Booth. Sounded like it was a good time.
Yeah, it was. They were a good band. We
Monster,
played with them.
Monster
last time,
Party
Steven.
with
Yeah,
Bishop.
Monster Party. Yeah,
Like,
I remember the when I wasn't in Adrenalyn yet, but they did a thing at Goodfellas with Monster Party, that outside thing.
Oh, Jesus, that's the night I fell off the stage.
And
Off Goodfellas stage.
Outside.
Oh, I was just saying.
yeah, it was like
We had no lights.
Yeah, there was no lights.
And Charlie Primage from the Roundhouse, the guy that's running the hayride, and a friend of ours decide to light fireworks off behind the stage right at the perfect time. We were playing Dr. Feelgood. Right when it kicks in and these fireworks go up. And the cops were there like that. And I fell off the stage.
Ooh,
It scared the shit out of me.
I couldn't imagine.
Right down I went.
If you fell off Goodfellas stage now, you'd probably break your leg. That thing is that's underestimating how high that is. But yeah, there's just so many cool things. What was the band too that? I mean, I never seen Pop Tart Monkeys, but everyone said they were a good time. And then there was a band.
I've done many a show at Pop Tart Monkeys.
And then there was a band
Like I said, I've known Rob and Dave. I've known them for years.
Who's the band that does that song "Liquor Store"? Going down to the liquor store. Oh, way,
So,
oh.
my brother was in that band.
What was their? What were they?
Truck Stop Show.
Yeah, like I seen them their reunion, and they were a good time.
It wasn't with my brother though.
Yeah, yeah. They played at the Humane Fire Company.
Yep,
when I seen
Pottsville.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good bands over the years, like
Mm-hmm.
just from the area and musicians in general. And a lot of times, like when I get to a point where, and there's points that I get to too, like you guys get depressed or anxiety, I get anxiety. But when I get to a kind of like a low with the music type of thing, like if I feel we're at a dead end or like, I can't go no for like, what can we do more to like get out there? And like I kind of get into a slump myself, and
I get like
so
that all the time.
a lot of times, like the guys that I put on to listen to, if you want to say, that really inspired me from the area. The Badleys were a big one.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because that is one band that since I was young, I was probably 12 or 13 maybe, when my dad, maybe even younger, they were called the Badley Whites at the time. My dad was in radio, and, you know, it was a 45 I think he brought home. I don't even remember. But, you know, these guys got a record label, got on the record label, whatever, A&M I think it was at the time. But their music, it wasn't like, you know, our 90s grunge or like they had their own style. But from Diamonds in the Coal to, you know, Angelina's Coming Home, like if you listen to some of their older stuff, and it's funny because when my older brother was, you know, I was hanging around with him a lot, there was a song that they used to play. It was called Me, Myself, and I. And if you just listen to the songs, like if you listen to the lyrics and you put yourself in those places, or you want to pick me up, there's certain songs that I listen to and be like, man, these guys, and they're still playing. Like they have Gentleman's East. It's Ron, the drummer, Brett Alexander. Paul has a studio. Brett has a studio. Like I've followed them since I was a kid, you know. And
you ran
and
into
they're
Brett
still,
at a record store.
yeah,
day,
I went to Gallery of Sound with Billy for record store day, and you know, I see these guys playing up there. I'm like, there's three of them, two young kids. Like, I'm like, man, that guy looks really familiar. And I went up, I'm like, oh my God, that's Brett Alexander. Like he was playing with these. So
Someone said the Gallery
taken.
of Sound in Pottsville is turning into a venue. Is that true?
Gallery of Sound is up in
Hazel. There was one in
There was
Hazel.
one in
Wilkes-Barre?
Hazelton. There's one in
Wilkes-Barre.
The one in Hazelton, they said, the one that's by the old toy store, they said someone's turning that into like a venue for bands to play.
Oh, that'll be great.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is though. I have to look into that.
That,
yeah.
That'd be
But
great.
yeah, I mean that's
'Cause
one band.
There's not really places up in Hazelton to play either.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the local bands that push their way to, you know, really impact me in this area, because I've opened for nationals. I've worked alongside, you know, Vixen was at Goodfellas. Another person that, you know, helped me a lot with the music, with playing wise, and when Fulton's music store opened, I was, you know, kind of alongside Darren, and he was a big part in my life, I guess you could say. You know, with him and Bundy, they're both gone.
He was
you
the
know,
sound guy, right?
Bundy did sound.
Bundy did lights at.
So the guy with the he had
Yeah.
glasses.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
pictures.
There's a picture in
mural.
Fulton's
Yeah,
store. Yeah.
Yeah, but when we
Those,
first opened up,
those are two people I really miss.
I never met Steve's dad, but just being best friends with Steve and hearing his stories and like just
he was
hearing this-
awesome. I
I used to go see Steve's dad at the Plaza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just sounded like a class act dude.
I played in the band with him, with Onion Head, with Jimmy Duranis and Billy Lindemuth, and Bobby Relavage was on keys at the time. But it's just the people that I got to play with, or, you know, like I said, extended family, like, and I'm still like, you're just in a group, like everybody is together.
Mm-hmm.
But those people like inspire you to do the things that you do, or to keep going. So for me, and I always, every time he says, oh, I gotta run up to Fulton's, or, I have a really hard time going in the store, ever since, he passed away.
They have
But-
his obituary like hanging in the door.
Yeah, so I've been trying to go up there because Johnny K is up there, and I've
Oh.
I've
Oh,
played
we-
I've
we
played
all-
in the
we all
band.
love Johnny.
yeah.
Crazy bee, you.
And and playing in a band with him, playing in a band
Wow.
with Johnny K was like
He had a really bad
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a close call at him. We love you, Johnny.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot of people out there, and people that just follow us or help us through the years. Like with our band, we have Dan Van Linsky.
Oh, yeah.
He's awesome.
He's a good friend of the show.
He's
He's in the
right
hospital right now, so we want give our love and shout outs to him because he's always supported us.
Danny boy.
There's just certain people that kind of connect and follow you along the way through the years. He worked at Kmart. I think we played in Copper
Yeah,
7.
I remember
and
seeing.
he just started
I
coming
remember
out
seeing,
roadieing, and
I remember seeing Dan in Kmart.
yeah, I mean, it's just like, and now you look back and it's like, oh my God, that was how many years ago? Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe all that,
This is actually a
been
funny
through.
story. When I was in Monkey's Uncle, we were playing at Memory Lane when it was still in the mall, and Sean was still working at Kmart, and we were down at Memory Lane setting up. We actually had to go because our other guitar player, Sean Boylan, he was working at Kmart. We had to go. He had to take his break from work to come down and sound check, and then go back to work to finish his shift before he played down. I was
just with Dan. Me and Dan went to go see Randy up at Scranton for the Face God Driver show. Yeah, we walked in. Uncle Dan.
he's a great guy.
Another guy. Like,
he's always out there to lend a hand. Like some of the benefits we had, he's always like, can I give you a hand or whatever. So I mean, there's just so many
big supporter of local music.
Definitely, there's a lot of
He supported just about every band that I had been in.
Even Johnny K he'd always come out, you know, crazy bitch, that's
We
Johnny K.
he always did Sound for Nothing Sacred.
Yeah, I always see Johnny. I said, Johnny, I tell you what, I was at the bar the other night. There was this really big. It was a blonde with big boobs there. I was trying to hit on her. Who was that? I was like, I don't know, man. Her really crazy 80s hair. He goes, you son of a bitch. He's like, I scared the garbage out of him the one night. So
I always go into Fulton's and he's like, when's the Nothing Sacred reunion? When am I gonna get the call? The new sound.
Yeah. I guess the one night he peed outside, like when it was closing. He went to throw the trash out and he was peeing on the side of the building. And Steve's brother Matt was like, yo, Johnny Katie's outside peeing, joking around. And I was like, oh, watch this. So then I waited like a day or two, and we're all sitting around, we're drinking at the Greystone. I'm like, what's Johnny K's number? And he goes, all right. So he doesn't know my phone number, so I call him. I go, is this Johnny? Yes, yeah, this is me, buddy. What's going on? I said, this is Officer Smith of Pottsville Police Department. And he goes, oh, what's the matter? I was like, well, I forget what the business next to Fulton's was at the time, but it was some kind of thing. I remembered it like that at the top of my head. I was like, the business called. They said they have security cameras up, and we're going to have to cite you for public indecency. Your 61's right there, and you're out there exposing yourself, peeing on the side of a building. Like, we're gonna have you come down to the station and sign some paperwork. We're not gonna hit you with a big fine, but you're gonna get something like that. Like, at least go around the side of the building. Like, you're right there on 61. Kids could have been there. It could have been a bad thing. Like, we're not gonna give you jail time, but if this happens again, like, they have you a couple times on camera doing stuff. He goes, I didn't even know there was a camera there, buddy. And I was like, yeah. I was like, John, like, listen, man, this could have been a felony. You could have went to jail for a long time. I'm so sick. You can hear on the phone. I'm like, you shut the fuck up, you crazy bitch. This is Blackwell. He goes, you son of a bitch. We go into Fulton's. He goes, you almost gave me a heart attack.
He's a character.
Yeah.
From all the years I played with him and his dad was the sax man. So he can give you tons of stories. We had a blast. But, even just coming to my house for Monday Night Football or something like that, he'd pull up in the Lincoln, come knocking on the door, he'd have his pint glass. Like, he always had his beer with him in the car. I'm like, you drinking in the car? No, I'm not. That's not beer. Like, he always...
Yeah.
There's just characters. The characters that...
And everybody that watches this is going to think, man, these guys are old.
But these are like your memories or stories, like the stuff that you could share with your kids.
That's another great thing about it. You have like the stories and stuff.
Yeah, and the great part about this is now they're documented. They're going to be...
That's right.
You know what I mean? So regardless of what happens in 15 years, this Johnny K story is out going to be out there forever.
Oh, yeah.
Like...
I'm gonna remember the Johnny K peeing on a building story.
Yeah. Well, one of the big things I started this too is one of the first interviews I did with my grandmother. Because I only have one grandparent left, so I brought her inside her down, and I literally had her tell me her whole story, like when she was a kid, growing up and doing everything, and like how she, started her family and stuff. And that's when I pitched it to Eddie. I was like, "Yo, you think your dad would do this?" And he goes, "Would my dad do this? You don't have enough film to get my dad to stop talking." And that was the thing. I was like, "Yeah, that'd be something cool for your family. Like, your dad has all these amazing stories and experiences. Like, this is something like, 10, 15 years from now." It's still here. Like, you can literally pull up the file and listen to it. It's like something you're putting it in a time frame. You know what I mean? He's like, he goes, yeah. And he pitched it to your dad, and we did it. Like, that's what I want to do. Like, just not just like people have great stories, but capture some great stuff that people so they don't disappear, because there's so many great things in our area. Like, it's good to cherish it and hold on to it for a long time. It's fun. Phase 2, when I get my mobile studio, I want to start going to some of the high rises and just sit with people and have conversations.
You'll hear stories that'll...
Yep.
I remember being a kid and my grandfather over in Ringtown telling me about this plane accident in the 20s. How there was movie stars on there. And then getting on a four-wheeler as a teenager, trying to find out where it crashed.
Yeah.
You know, and now with like Google and stuff, I know exactly where it is.
Yep.
But then like stories of like how they grew up and the stuff they seen, it's unbelievable.
I have this one where I talked to this guy in Monty City. I won't say his name yet. I'll kind of build it up because maybe you might know him. But he's an older gentleman, and I remember the one day we're all playing basketball, and he's listening to me, just stand there, and I was like, who's this weird old guy, like white hair, big mustache, and he goes, "Come here," and I walk over, and he goes, "You remind me of a lot of a woman I used to love when I was a kid," and I was like, "That's the weirdest entry, like." Right.
Wow.
And he starts describing this woman because of her personality and the way she talked and the way she treated people and the way she like had her interactions. And he was describing my grandmother. And I was like, "What's her name?" And he told me. I was like, "That was my grandmother." And he goes, "Holy shit, you're a Blackwell. That makes so much sense." So he's talking and he goes, "I used to be best friends with Gene Kilroy." And I was like, "Dude, I don't know who Gene Kilroy. Like, I don't know who you're talking about." And he's like, "You know who Muhammad Ali is?" I'm like, "Of course I know who Muhammad Ali is. I'm a huge fight fan. Like, I never watched any of his old fights, but like he was like I never physically watched him fight, but I knew who Muhammad Ali was." And he goes, "You should come to the house one day and we should sit and watch fights." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like a 16-year-old kid. This grown old man has invited me into his house. Every sign said run away from this situation. And, I was like,
Kind
you
of
know
like
what?
the Sandlot.
Yeah. And I said, you know what? And the one night I was like, and then I thought more about it. I was like, you know what? That's the way society treats things now. Like, you should be afraid of everything. And I said to myself the one night, I'm like, you know what? It's the summertime. I don't have school in the morning. This guy probably has no one to talk to. He probably just like he needs someone to just sit down and talk to for a little bit. And I was like, I went to his house and knocked on the door. He goes, "Hey," like we're just walking by, and he goes, "What's going on?" I said, I told my friends, like, "You just keep walking." And what do you mean? I said, I'm gonna hang out here. And they're like, are you fucking stupid? Like, I was like, "No, just go." And I sat in this guy's house till 4 a.m, and he had every tape of Muhammad. We literally watched every Muhammad Ali fight,
Wow.
right? And then he had documentaries. He had all this stuff. And then he's like, "I'll show you something cool." And he brings down a pair of boxing gloves, and they're signed.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, "Where the fuck did you get these?" He's like, "I'm telling you, I was friends with Gene Kilroy." I was like, "You're saying this like I know." He goes, "Gene Kilroy's from Monty City." He goes, "Muhammad Ali's training camp is in Oryxburg." He goes, "I used to go up there all the time with Gene, and we used to like hang out." And then he pulls out a photo album, and he has photos of him and Muhammad Ali, him and Joe Louis, like all his training partners and stuff. And I'm like, this guy wasn't fucking around. Like he was legit about this. And I remember I went to talk to him like maybe 4 or 5. I want to go knock on his door and just see how he's doing because he's still with us. But I went to go talk to him, and I think he was starting to lose it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I messaged Fighters Heaven, just because I'm at the point, too, where I just send a message out and be like, "Hey, were you guys interested? I'd love to showcase your area." I never thought in a million years they would be like, "Nah, we're good. We don't really do outside press," or like, "I'm not the local T102 or Newswatch 16. No one's going to mess with me. Like, who am I?" And the guy messaged me, goes, "Hey, man, just come up and talk to me one day, and we'll see what we can do." And I was like, "All right." I said, "Does Monday work?" He goes, "Yeah, come on up Monday." So I go up. And there's here. The guy was like, "Hey, I have a group coming in a little bit. You and your buddy, if you want, just every cabin's open. Just walk around, and have a good time." And I was like, "What?"
Wow.
And he walked around, and I met him back in the gym, and I was like starstruck by it. Like I was like, "This is crazy." Like John was telling me about this, and I didn't say nothing to the guy about John or anything. And he's like, and then later on, I was like, "Hey, I just wanted to bring this up. Like, there was a guy," and I told him the whole story I told you, and he goes, "Oh, Mr. John Clark." He goes, "Yeah, he tries to come up here every weekend. He just can't have anyone to bring him up. Like, he's not in good shape. But when he's here, like, it brings everything back to him." And I was like, "Man," I'm gonna go find him and bring him up. So that's my goal after Skook Stock. But he's like, "John has he left this here, and it was like a shoebox, and it was the same shoebox from like 13 years ago that he showed me in his living room." And I was I'm sitting in Muhammad Ali's gym, where he won his world championship. Wow. And I was more captivated by seeing John's photos that he talked about this place. Like, it was such a, like, I was getting emotional. I was like, I'm gonna go walk it out a little bit real quick. But it was just such a cool, like, and that story is in Schuylkill County on every single block in every single town. Maybe not to the extent of a Muhammad Ali, but there's something in this area for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I try to find those stories, because they're there. Like, there's so much cool history in this area that people don't know about, and they take for granted. So the band, how did Adrenalyn come about?
Can I use your bathroom first?
Absolutely. Upstairs to the right.
Dude, it's been a long day.
Yeah, upstairs to the right.
Sorry, and I'll get to this with you.
All right, until he comes back. So you were talking about bands that inspire you, and when I go through my peaks or my lows, one of the bands I turn on a lot is the Foo Fighters. Mm-hmm. I'm a lyric person as well. Foo Fighters, for me, they write anthems. Like they're positive songs if you actually listen to them. Like keep you in the dark, and and then like all the lyrics are just like you can come out of something. Like what if I say I'm not like the others? What if I say I'm not just another one of your phase? You're the pretender. What if I say I'll never surrender? Like just don't give up. Like every song of Foo Fighters is don't give up, keep pushing, and you will make it through, and you could be the baddest motherfucker on the planet. You know what I mean? Like I'm a huge Foo Fighters guy. What drove you to Kiss?
My dad.
Your dad?
He used to he had like a second shift job, and like before work, like he would like go in the front room and and listen to music, and a lot of times it was Kiss, and he introduced me to Kiss. It didn't you look at the album cover itself and it's just like wow.
Yeah, everything about Kiss says I should.
And then I this was around 1978. I remember I'm on 3 years old, and I see them on it was called the Young Music Special. It was on HBO, and it was like a full concert of theirs, and I just went freaking nuts. And I'm like, that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so we went to Vegas and we stayed at the Rio last year, and inside the Rio they have an indoor mini golf course.
The Kiss
and
mini
it's
golf.
all Kiss.
Yep. I want to get there one of these days.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
Memorabilia out the ass.
I know.
Jean's tongue car is there.
Yeah.
And then the same people who own that one own a Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Mini golf course in another hotel.
Yeah, I think after there's talk of like after I guess their last tour.
Mm-hmm.
That they're going to do another residency. I want to get out there, and I definitely want to see the mini golf course. And
who's your favorite member?
Paul.
Yeah.
Which I went to I went to his book signing a couple months ago, and he was really cool.
What's your most prized Kiss memorabilia? Because they have memorabilia for everything.
Yeah,
they're probably most merchandise band of all time.
Well, my most prized possession I don't have anymore. I had I had a 19. It was around 95. Well, the guitar that Paul uses, like the Ibanez PS10, they reissued it, and I bought one, and I never played it. Right when I bought it, I was going out to a Kiss convention out in Pittsburgh, and they were when they played the acoustic, when they had the acoustic record,
mm-hmm.
they were they went around and did conventions, and they played acoustic, and they would sign anything you want afterwards, and I got him to sign the guitar, and I had it for since from 95 to and then 2009 I'm thinking, man, they're getting up there, and they were starting to do the meet and greets and stuff, and I'm thinking, man, I want to get a picture of them with their makeup on, and they were doing their meet and greets and stuff like that, and I'm like, how the hell am I gonna get the money up for that? So I'm thinking, well, I put the guitar up on eBay, nothing. And so after the auction, I went to the people that were actually looking at the auction. There's this guy in Australia, and I had it up for about $3,000, and I didn't get what I wanted for it.
Mm-hmm.
I got about $2,500 for it, but it's in Australia right now.
Really?
Yeah. So I sold that guitar, and I got the meet and greet for when they were in Philly.
Yeah.
So, I missed the guitar.
Yeah. One of the coolest things I ever seen that Kiss did, because I'm a comic book nerd, is when they put their blood in the red ink, and they had a Marvel comic.
You know what? The blood actually got into the wrong vat of red ink.
Really?
It went to another comic book.
So it actually wasn't even in that comic.
It wasn't in that comic book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Talk about fuck up.
Yeah, it's probably like in like a Hulk 101 or something.
Yeah,
Do they even know?
I read somewhere what comic it was, but I can't remember what it was. But
I have to look in. I didn't know that. See, I
got into
thought
the
I was going to
wrong-
impress you with my KISS knowledge of the comic book, and didn't even know it was in the wrong
I
comic.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's all.
I got both of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was the first band that got picked up by like an actual major produced comic. Like that was a Marvel comic.
Yeah, that was the Marvel Super Special 1 and 5, I believe.
Mhm. And their gimmick was they were space demons, right?
Something like that. I never read it.
Yeah.
I just have it.
I love gimmicky stuff.
Their actual first appearance in a comic book was Howard the Duck number 3 and
Yes.
4.
Yep. hmm I love gimmicky, like the band Ghost.
Yeah.
Like I love that sticky stuff. Like where it's
Yeah.
shtick. Like, but you have to be good. Like Steel Panther. Steel Panther is shtick. Like,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they're
Ghost had to grow on me a little bit
yeah.
because the whole satanic thing and stuff like that.
But they're not even really satanic.
Yeah.
They
They're
just
not.
do it because it's funny.
Yeah, they're satanic and they put out a song Dance Macabre. It's
Well, I like
which actually means Dance of Death, right?
yeah. I like the one they did where they did "Here Comes the Sun" by the Beatles.
Yes.
Oh, I
Except
love
they
that.
do it as
eerie.
"Here Comes the." It's like "Here Comes the Sun" as the Antichrist.
Uh-huh.
Like they took the same song and turned it.
Yeah.
So awesome. But yeah, I love gimmicky stuff.
Yeah.
Dude looks like a French painter that needs a good suntan.
Yeah. Well, that's a mask.
I know.
Yeah. Like it's a mask with face paint on it.
That's like War. We go.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just love the stage show. I love the song. Like if you listen to the lyrics, you gotta listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
But just the stage show, the show that they put on.
They
It
skewered
may not
Michael
be that
Jackson.
nice, but
They skewered Michael Jackson
that's a
and
lot.
ripped him apart.
That's a lot of time to put into a show like that.
Yeah.
A lot of time, and I would go see them any day.
Did you ever hear "Here Comes the Mummies"? They're like a jazz band, or like they play horns and instruments. There's like 15 people, and they're all dressed as mummies.
No.
The rumor is like some of the people in the band are actually in other bands, but they legally can't be in other bands, so they dress up in full costume,
Nice.
and they do all these really cool songs. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I love the music. So I love it. I like how we went on these side tangents for music.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I actually heard that Dave Grohl actually
He drummed in Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you would never know because they wear costumes.
I heard that, and I never knew if it was true or not.
That's no one's denying it. We'll say that.
Yeah.
No one's denied it. So
Yeah.
who knows? It's very possible.
Yeah.
Well, he also drums for Tenacious D,
Mm-hmm.
which is a awesome,
And
awesome
he
band.
drummed on the first Queens of the Stone Age album,
Yeah. Could you imagine
and
that?
did the tour too.
You're like the drummer of Nirvana, and you're like, oh, our singer just overdosed, allegedly.
She did it.
I don't think he died of overdose. But,
No.
She did it.
But you're like, man, my career's over. And then he's like, David Grohl just being a very, I'm going to go get it attitude, very positive person. Like, I'm going to make my own album. Like, dude, you were the drummer in Nirvana. No one's going to listen to you.
Actually, he was writing the first Foo Fighters record.
Every instrument part.
Yeah.
He recorded every instrument and then found a band.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
But he was writing the songs like while Cobain was still alive.
Yeah.
I forget which one he actually played for him. I forget which.
I think it
one
was Big Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
Just to keep that intensity for all those years.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep getting better.
And Taylor Hawkins is an amazing drummer.
Oh,
and, he's,
yeah.
and he's still not even the best drummer of the band.
He almost wasn't going to be the guy.
Really?
The guy was from Lancaster.
I did not know that.
He was from my local.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah,
He was
there's-
working in Philly, and Dave Grohl was looking for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's-
I didn't believe him. And then these other guys are telling me, yeah. And then the guy's wife told me, I'm like, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you're kicking yourself in the ass.
Yeah. And Taylor Hawkins' first job as the Foo Fighters was to cross-dress as a woman for the Everlong video.
Wow.
That was his first duties as a Foo Fighter member.
Did you ever see his other project that he does?
Taylor Hawkins, yeah.
Yes,
It's really
Billy
good.
showed me it. Oh my God, I laughed so hard.
He sings. He's good.
Oh wow. Well, I know he sings. He does. He usually does Under Pressure.
Yeah, he does Under
Okay.
Pressure, and then he sings when one of my favorite concerts of all time that I can watch all the time is when Foo Fighters played at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah. I'll tell you what though. I
With
I
Jimmy
think,
Page and them coming out?
Yeah.
Oh my God, chills.
And Taylor Hawkins sang
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, chills.
Yeah, it was
I'll
awesome.
tell you what. That guy from the Struts, man, he should be in Queen right now.
Yeah. That That Queen movie was pretty. I didn't see the Elton John one. Did you see that one yet?
Yes, it's boring.
Really?
I
didn't like it.
I turned it off.
It was like a musical.
Really?
I didn't care for it. I thought it was going to be more like the Queen movie.
Yeah.
The Queen movie actually told you more stuff than what you knew, which I thought was great.
There was some stuff they so the original Queen movie was supposed to be Sacha Baron Cohen, and I would have loved to see that movie. And he said I wanted to tell the story of Freddie Mercury that it would shock people. And they didn't really dive into it as much in this one. That they kind of talked about his parties and stuff, but they didn't really Sacha Baron Cohen wanted to put more out there.
Right.
And the band Queen was like, no, they're like, we're not going to put all. So here's what the compromise was. What has me terrified, because they're making Bohemian Rhapsody Part 2.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's not going to do as well because he was on Howard Stern. And he said they wanted to make one Queen movie, and halfway through, it was going to be the start of Queen, Live Aid, I Die, then Part 2 was going to be the band of Queen and how they did it without Freddie. And Howard goes, they didn't do it without Freddie. He goes, that's why I'm not in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and they were like, well, we didn't want to put that side of Freddie out there. And they're like, well, that's who Freddie was. And they're like, that's not what we're doing. So Sasha worked on this movie for 4 years, vocal training, the whole nine, and he was going to sing it, he was going to do all of it. And they're like, nope, we're going to go with somebody else. And then the movie sat in the shelf for 6 years, then was picked back up, and that's the movie we got now.
It was still a good movie, though.
It was very good. Very, very talented. Really good. It was awesome. I enjoyed it. But, yeah. And then The Dirt, that was pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dirt was fun.
24 seconds in.
The Dirt,
what
yeah.
we're watching.
Yeah.
The Dirt kind of reminded me about that half-assed Def Leppard movie that VH1 put out a couple years ago.
This
That's
had
what
a lot
kinda
of comedy
reminded
in
me.
it.
But I'll tell you what, Machine Gun Kelly did a good job as Tom.
He did.
He did. What other bands would you like to see a movie about? I would like an
Well,
Aerosmith movie.
they are going to make a Guns N' Roses movie.
Okay.
I did hear that. I am.
Well, Slash was in The Dirt.
right.
they teased him.
when he overdosed.
Yep, he was on the couch.
Actually, Steve. Well, the real story is Steven Adler was there also, but they don't show Steven Adler in that scene.
So was Dave Ellison for Megadeth.
Right.
Yeah.
They were all there when that happened.
Who was the guy in the car with him when he got in the car accident and died?
Razzle
From what band?
Hanoi Rocks.
Okay. That was a deep scene right there. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I would like an Aerosmith movie.
Oh, absolutely, because you know what? Them two hate each other.
Oh, Steven and
and Joe Perry. They hate each other.
How about the story where they said when they made their one album, they got a huge like farmhouse mansion, and they literally locked themselves in their own rooms and they were doing heroin, and then when they ran out, they were shooting guns at each other to try to get the other batch of heroin off the other guy. Wow. The band was shooting at each other. They had a shootout in the house. If you want to talk about how Motley Crue did their thing and they tore rooms up, and Aerosmith was doing that even before them. And then Zeppelin was doing it before them.
Yeah.
People don't realize how long Aerosmith was a thing.
Early 70s.
Yeah, they were out a long time. They're crazy.
Kiss actually opened for Aerosmith.
Yeah. Kiss would be a cool movie.
It's happening.
Yeah. That'd be a cool
Definitely
movie.
happening.
Well, they changed what? They changed... One of the members is not the original member, right?
Two.
Kiss?
Two.
And they're two...
There's
and it wasn't a good break, right?
All together, there's been 10 people in Kiss.
Really?
Yeah.
But the two main guys is...
Gene and Paul.
Gene and Paul, the guitarist and bass player.
Yeah.
Do you know this band has had more members?
Yeah.
Really?
Adrenalyn, yeah.
We're almost to 20
Wow.
from the
What
beginning.
number was I?
Probably around 15.
And you're the only original?
I'm the only original.
Wow.
I would like to get the boys back together for one last go at it.
Yeah.
Just one night.
Are they all in other bands now, or was it...
I am the only one playing.
Really? So
I'm
it was
the
more
only
like
one.
they just gave up music for a while.
No, when we broke up and went our separate ways, the drummer and I, we went one way. The other two guys went to two other bands, and it was pretty bad. I mean, the four guys hated each other.
Really?
And
You put so much
Now-
time with each other, it could happen.
Yeah.
It definitely could happen.
oh,
definitely.
and it was, it was boiling over because it got so big so fast. We weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
We were this little band that couldn't even get a job for 2 years. Okay, we played up at the Little League for the fireworks the 1 year.
Oh, wow.
And then it morphed when I fired the original drummer, which he wasn't panning out. Fired the singer. He wasn't panning out. But the guitar player stuck around, and he wasn't even 21 yet. And we were getting ready to go, and then my buddy from town here, I'll play drums, and he was a hell of a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
So there was the three of us. We had no singer. Well, then a friend of ours from another band we heard was getting let go, and I'm going, he's our boy. So
I wish I could sing. I could retain lyrics. I just can't sing. I love it.
we jumped all over it, and we were like everybody else at the time. You were playing the T102 top 40 at the time.
Every band's covering the same thing.
Every band's doing the same thing, and I remember the singer called a meeting, and we all went and we sat down and we talked. We needed to do something different. Well, at that time, it was all pop stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Limp Bizkit just came out. Tool just came out. Papa Roach. It was
Korn.
right. Korn. We hit all that heavy stuff, and no one was doing it yet. And we come out like House of Fire. Our opening set when we first did our first show together was somebody's third set. Well, then when we started doing our own shows, it was 3 sets of this.
Yeah.
You were dead tired by the end.
Yeah.
And I remember doing a show at Memory Lane. We drank more booze than we made at the door. You know, I'm owing this guy $100, and we drank $500 worth of booze.
Ooh,
And there's only 4 of us.
it's a long night. Yeah.
But you're young and you're full of piss and vinegar at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, it just didn't work out the way we were together. And one guy wanted to do this guy wanted to do that, and it just nobody could compromise, so we went our own ways. And then I went to another band, and that was like the first hardcore band around here. We were playing like this really heavy, fast metal, and nobody really was doing it. And that took over for about 2 years, and I just had enough. I needed a break. I needed to recharge, and
Original or cover?
it was both.
Yeah.
And I sat my bass down and didn't touch it for 3 years. Started dating Carrie, and was your brother Chris? Was he playing bass at the time?
Yeah.
And he was having problems with his wrist. And she said, "Do you want to fill in for a little bit until he gets better?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm rusty." So,
Chris has a good voice too.
yeah.
I didn't know until Courtney put the video of him playing acoustic and singing. He has a good voice.
Yeah, I hardly ever hear him talk. We're the quiet ones in
Yeah.
the family, but yeah, when I first heard him
Yeah,
sing,
Chris
I was like,
is really
oh my
quiet.
god.
Yeah.
I couldn't
He's so good.
yeah.
Was that at your mom and dad's, or somebody videotaped him doing the reggae stuff the first
did.
time, and we're all sitting there
I think
going,
he was out in California. or
"What's
something.
this?"
Yeah, he was in a shed in California,
Yeah.
and Courtney
And I was
videotaped it.
Couldn't believe it. A hell of a voice on him.
So good.
Oh, smooth, man.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth. And
I used to like when they'd open first.
The gorilla
oh
Pack.
yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
back.
I've yet to see Gorilla Pack. I want to see it so bad.
it was a lot of fun.
Steve has been on Not Cool in High School now twice from Gorilla Pack.
Nice.
Yeah, so, super.
He's a
cool
hell of a
dude.
drummer.
Yeah, really.
Yes.
Oh wow.
That whole band, musically, was top notch.
I want to see it so bad. I have never seen Gorilla Pack.
And then Billy.
He
Billy
just-
did the last show
Yeah.
with Gorilla Pack, and we're all standing there going,
That
"Holy
was
shit!"
great. That was
Well,
great.
Stevie's the bass player. Kyle's the drummer.
Kyle.
Bird.
Kyle, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
So then Carrie and I joined up with Copper 7, and, well, she was in first. And that got to the tail end where there was we didn't know if there was going to be a tomorrow. And I talked her into leaving. And we contacted the original singer, and
I think it just fell by the wayside. Jimmy left and Chooch left, and
but we didn't know if there was a tomorrow or not, you know. But called up the old boy up, come back singing. We got a guitar player, and off we were running again.
You guys have a keyboard in your band too, right?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I thought that one show I seen you guys had a keyboard or some type of keys or something going on.
No,
The one that when we played Rage and Angel was
Oh yeah,
scratching
we had a
with
DJ behind us scratching while we were playing. It
Yeah.
was wild.
That might have been it.
That
yeah.
was a Halloween show.
But Carrie and I have been running with this ever since probably 2007, 2008. For quite a long time. I mean, members have come and go.
Mhm.
We had some top-notch players. We had guys that just didn't work out.
Mhm.
Right now, I think this is the strongest we've ever been. It's more like a gang now, where
Like family.
it's funny because we could bust each other's balls to the point where someone else is going to cry themselves to sleep, and we're laughing at each other.
Yeah.
But there's
know.
points where we do, it's like a family, we disagree, and you
Yeah.
get on each other's nerves.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mike and I
it's-
do.
Yeah.
But then,
I
like,
yell.
you get over it, and
Yeah.
it's like, what, it happens. It's just.
Yeah,
just
anytime you spend
together.
enough time with somebody, you're gonna be like, man, there's something about that person. I just want to choke them out, and then you talk about it, and then it's over. And you're just like, but that's the big thing is you have to have a conversation about it.
It's communication.
Yeah, like what I'm more excited. Like everyone's like, oh man, the new Crowbot album and Crowbot. Like the thing I'm more excited about is I think Crowbot's chemistry now is better than it's ever been. I think every member of that band is just like the perfect fit for one another.
I like the new stuff a lot. Too.
Yeah, Dan, the drummer, is literally, he's not from around here, but he literally has that mind state of everyone else in the band. Just like, let's all just like have fun. Like they communicate if they have to.
Yeah.
Like
I think they should just say screw it and hire Eddie.
Well,
that's my hopes too. You're
the
listening.
thing is like even like you're saying with like Robot right now, and even us and some other bands where you could be the best player in the world and have the best people around you. If you don't gel and you don't have camaraderie and you don't have that cohesiveness, it don't work.
No.
And it's very noticeable.
Yeah.
Very noticeable.
Yep.
And you know, it's weird how like in the past where let's say a singer forgets his cue to come in, we all don't look at each other. We know one more time around.
Yep.
You know, and that's hard to do. Where you're like, here we go.
Yep.
You know, and we've been blessed.
Yeah.
The three of us have been blessed with each other that we can do that. And now with Mike and John, they were the missing pieces that we've been looking for, because we went for what? It was a year, almost a year we had no singer. And I was slowly giving up. And
We actually had Andy Hare come down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good front man.
Yeah.
we were doing the last audition, and this is weird. We're doing the last audition, and the guy was good. He just didn't fit.
Yeah.
There was a
Well, that guy was on a Saturday, and then we had a whole day, the Sunday, all booked with
like 4 or
auditions,
5 of
and
them.
yeah, and they all canceled out. And I had gotten a call from John that Saturday and said he wanted to come down, and we were going to schedule him for next week and stuff like that. So when everybody canceled on Sunday, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna call John and see if he wants to come down today. You know, I'm like, hey, you want to come down? He's like, hey, I'll be right down. And you know, we pretty much blew through most of the set that we were playing at the time.
Wow.
And it was easy. I mean,
And instead of like, you know, we would give like about 3 or 4 songs, you know, and John came down and did 20.
Wow. You know, my favorite thing is with musicians, like, I've only ever experienced it twice, but every time it starts happening, I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. I love when people, like, talented musicians can just sit in a room and they just pick up, like, a bongo or a drum or something, and they just start jamming and they start playing stuff, and people, it becomes like a sing-along, and everyone's just having a good time, and they're playing. Like, the one that happened when I went with Steve, Dave, I forget who it was, but it was all in Steve's apartment, Randy, and then we're just playing along, playing.
Oh, yeah.
So much fun. Like those are magical nights, man. Just like little jams and like so much fun. Yeah.
I think
Like
the
little campfire things, you know?
Yeah.
best one I ever seen and was involved in was the day you were telling everybody that you were pregnant at your parents' house for Christmas. And our guitar player now, and Keith, Carrie's brother, and Eddie had a ukulele in the kitchen,
How often does just musical jam sessions break out at your parents' house?
All the time.
A
Well,
lot. Or every party we
yeah.
have, or any get
Oh,
together.
every party
or-
we have at our house?
We always have like
Jam.
If you want to invite me, that'd be
Musicians
amazing.
Come on down.
My favorite one was I can't remember if it was Billy's birthday party or Bubby's birthday party that we all just like broke out and jammed.
Oh, yeah.
and
Or
it's
was it
usually,
your mom's?
I think it was Bub's and my mom's.
Yeah.
like, and we always have like people that were in the band. Like we keep our ties good.
Yeah.
You know, so our like Mark Weiss, like he was an old singer. Like he still comes to our function. Like it's a family. Once
Yeah.
you're in for the most part, you know, and you try to keep the bad blood out
Yeah.
because you never know when you're gonna need that.
Even if there
person.
was bad blood, it usually gets squashed after a
Yeah.
while.
And that's
Because
usually the
there's no
power of
reason.
music. It really is. Like music is such a powerful, powerful thing, and it's something that I think it's taken for granted. And I know it happens with every genre. Like the extreme metal guys will like, I hate everything that's not this genre. Like
Yeah.
it's just so silly to go. Like I'm kind of that way when it comes to country. I have a hard time with country.
Me too.
And it's I don't despise it. I just don't like I'm kind of the same way with really heavy metal too. Where if I hit play on this song and you could put 100 bands on, by the time it's over, I thought I heard just one continuous song. Mm-hmm. Everything's like and country's like and then they have that twangy wind they sing, and it's just like there's nothing original or different. But they're the ones who like criticize their genres the most. Like,
Right.
You're not country, you're not metal because you're not fitting into our conformity. Like that's why I can't get into that because it's so similar. Like I have a hard time with it.
That's what made projects like Hank 3 and the Abbott Brothers did a record.
Who's the
with
guy that
a-
sings Tennessee Whiskey?
Oh, I can't remember.
You know what song I'm talking about, right?
I've heard it.
I think is it Chris Stapleton?
It might be.
Well, he might, but that song's really good. Like another country, like Zach Brown band. I like him.
Yeah, but if you take what you're hearing there with the Zach Brown band, listen
That's
to
like-
it.
it's like rock. It's rock.
It's rock.
Yeah, a lot of new country is 80s hard rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Zach Brown, when he did that thing with Chris Cornell,
Yeah,
oh my God,
100%.
that was awesome.
There's a song out now, and it's who's the country guy in it? But it's Bruno Mars. It's Ed Sheeran.
Yes, I just seen that
song
the other
Blow.
day. You know what? I was like hesitant at first, going, but Bruno Mars.
He's a phenomenal
Yes.
musician.
He is. I tried so hard to freaking dislike him.
When he did,
He's so good.
He is.
when he did the Super Bowl halftime,
Chris Stapleton, Ed Sheeran, and Bruno Mars. It literally sounds like a Crowbot song. It's so heavy. It's heavy rock. It's funky. It's
and
so good.
whatchamacallit's playing drums on that.
Bruno?
Yes.
Yeah.
He plays drums on that song. The guy's just a talent. He's the future Prince.
Yeah.
You know?
I would agree with that 100%. He actually broke Michael Jackson's #1 hits in a quicker amount of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of Prince, I'm like a huge Prince fan.
Yeah.
I love Prince.
Amazing guitarist. Do you ever hear when what's his name? Maroon 5.
Adam.
Adam Levine?
Yes.
When he covered on Howard Stern Purple Rain?
Yes.
So good.
I think I might
That
have
was
seen
for
that.
his birthday party.
Yeah, Howard Stern's
That was
birthday.
really good.
Super talented, yeah.
I remember the one Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when they were inducting George Harrison.
When they did
Well,
My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Oh, with
Prince
With
and
Prince.
and Tom Petty.
Tom Petty and
Bruce
Jeff Lynne.
Springsteen.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
man, unbelievable.
Yeah, there's Tom Petty, another one, man. I don't know how true it is, but they said Tom Petty didn't start playing guitar till he was like 20.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He was in his mid-20s when he got signed.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize how old he was when he passed away.
Yeah.
Because he didn't look it. But it's just a shame that we keep losing these guys. You know, it makes you wonder when you get older.
Yeah.
The one reunion that I have yet to see that I want to see, Skid Row.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the only other, like, all the other reunions I've seen them all.
Yes. So
And that's the last reunion that needs to be done
yeah.
to me.
Yeah, that would be a good. I mean, obviously everyone talks Zeppelin and just have what's his name, Sun Drum.
Yes.
But
I would take it
That
in a
happened
heartbeat.
before already, though.
Yeah,
I'd do it again.
yeah. Everyone, we got Greta Van Fleet, right? That's a
Dude, they're actually really good. I like
yeah.
them.
They are.
They
Have you ever
are.
heard-
The new one's awesome.
Have you ever heard Train cover Zeppelin?
Yes.
Really good.
Did you ever hear the guy from Train do the Doors?
No,
They did. He does. It's on the
Pat
Doors.
Monahan. They're from
Doors.
Erie, Pennsylvania.
Really?
Train is pretty much a PA band. Yeah.
They did a Doors thing where they had the remaining Doors,
And I'm gonna one up you.
and they
Have
had.
you
a
ever
bunch of guys.
heard the record where the Black Crowes with Jimmy Page?
No.
They did a whole cover album of Zeppelin.
Really?
Yeah, it was like it's a live album, and they were. It is so good.
Here's
So
here's another cool one. Do you ever hear Cheap Trick do Sgt. Pepper?
Yes.
The whole song. That was a good album too.
Yeah.
I made my dad walk away from a free Cheap Trick concert.
Yeah.
And I grew up old, like, so my dad tried to get me in his music so bad, and I was like, ugh. And my mom was trying to put me into her music. I was like, ugh. And I wasn't a huge music kid growing up. Like, I didn't care. And then I got older, and then my dad's like, all right, like, I started getting into music, and he's like, who's your favorite? I was like, so he gave me, I always forget the name of it. What was when you get the magazine, and they were like stamps, and you lick it, and you put it,
Oh, Columbia House.
Columbia House.
Yeah, yeah.
So my dad's like, I'll let you pick out, I think it was like you get 10 or 20
I
or
think I
something.
still owe them money.
For a penny.
Yeah. And so my dad's like, you could pick out 5 CDs and I get 5 CDs. And I was like, all right. And I'm looking through and I pick Aerosmith Big Ones, AC/DC Back in Black, I think AC/DC Live, and then I picked Orgy Blue Monday.
Nice.
And I think they were my 4 or 5 I was able to pick, and they came in, I listened to them. My dad was like, he didn't really care for the Orgy, right? But I just remember that song, How Does It
We
Feel?
should
the
pick
rest-
that up.
the
We
rest of the
should pick that
album
up
is
again.
great.
That was a fun
Yeah.
song to do.
That album is very underrated.
It is. So I remember my dad was like, oh, he picked like 3 of these, are awesome. And then I got older and I was like, man, I want to find, so like high school time is I'm starting to find my band. So the first band I was like, man, this is my shit, was Blink-182. Like, I loved Blink. So my dad surprised me. He's like, I'm going to take you to a concert in Hershey, and it's going to be a Blink concert. And I'm like, well, who are they playing with? And he goes, Green Day? And I was like, I think I heard of them. I'm not 100% sure. And this is before Green Day got political. They were still like a punk band. And I left there. After Green Day kept playing, I'm like, I know that song. I know that song. I know that one too. And by the end of the show, I was like, I left there as big or not as big of a Green Day fan as I was Blink-182. And then the first time I heard Linkin Park, like, changed my life. I was like, I liked hip hop and I liked rock, and it was the perfect mix of both. And I remember I would sit there and I would memorize all of the raps, like Mike Chioda's, like to this day, if I put that album on, I know like every single rap.
And I'll tell you what, that all goes back to Aerosmith and Run DMC.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I was just like, and then I was like super pumped. I started picking my own music and stuff, and then I would be like, I'm gonna go back and listen to some of my dad's stuff that he tried to get me into, because now I'm getting more appreciation. And I was like, The Who, and like
Yes.
Cheap Trick.
That
and-
is
you're
actually,
talking good stuff.
I saw Run DMC.
Really?
I saw it was at Hershey actually. It was Run DMC, Kid Rock, and Aerosmith.
Oh wow.
Great
Yeah.
show.
Here's a
it was
great-
right before Jam Master Jay got killed.
Here's a good Darren story. So when me and Steve first met, we were drinking one night. I think it was around the time, like around his dad, and around that time of the year, he always gets a little, like, he gets low. But we're talking about it, and I was like, dude, I remember my dad took me to my first show at Hershey, and my first album was Aerosmith, and we were like, who's your favorite bands? It's like, if I had to pick 2, it'd be Aerosmith, Blink-182, and he's like, dude, me too. That's like my 2 favorite bands. So me and Steve were always talking, and he's like, here's a cool story. He goes, my dad, we were at Hershey Park. It was me, my dad, my brother, and my mom, and we're all up in the Ferris wheel. And it was only me and my dad in the Ferris wheel. My mom and my brother were down, and we're looking across the park, and you can see the stadium, and we're looking, and you can see the giant Aerosmith on the stage, and I guess the opening band was playing, but you knew it was. And he's like, Dad, Aerosmith's playing over there. And he goes, holy shit, I didn't know that. And he said the carousel was about to come down. They're like, stop it, stop, stop. And I guess he made them stop it. He got off the Ferris wheel, and he literally said, here's the keys. Here's everything you guys need. Have fun in the park the whole night. And him and Steve ran across the park and went and just immediately bought tickets, and that was his first concert with his dad.
That's
That's awesome.
Aerosmith is his dad's favorite band.
Yeah.
Yep.
When we did the benefit for Darren, actually reached out to like the fan club for Aerosmith. They sent us a letter because at that time he had ALS, and we put on a big, nice benefit, and Port Carbon for him. We had 8 bands, like my brother's bands and stuff. But yeah, that
Was that the one at Pineview Acres?
No. We did the first one at Citizens in Pali.
Okay.
We had 2 stages going.
I know there was another one at Pineview Acres.
There was one at Pineview Acres, and then Section 8 did that. So the first one that we did, I don't know if Section 8 did that one with us or not. I think they may have. I think we did have them with Bobby and Jimmy and everybody was there. But yeah, that was his
the song we always listen to that Steve always says, like, this is like, and even to this day when I listen to it now, and I don't even know like Darren, but I hear that song and I just know like how much people respected him, loved him, and I hear it's Full Circle by Aerosmith. Time that Don't Let It Slip Away, Raise Your Drinking Glass, Here's to Yesterday, like just an amazing Aerosmith song. Yep. And then when Terry plays on piano, You Hear Me Crying. Did you ever hear him do that? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so good. Terry is so good.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve, when he first started the Boys Upstairs, Darren heard Terry playing and went to Steve and said, "You need to start a band with that guy. He's really good." Like he got the stamp of approval. Terry's so talented.
He is.
But yeah, that Darren and then Jaybird is another one where I knew of Jaybird. I hung out maybe once or twice. Like when I was getting this tattoo, Jerry was getting his neck done, and we were just bullshitting about wrestling and music. And like everywhere we go, someone's like, "Yo, we're doing a shot," and I'm like, "Oh, I'll give you Blackberry," because that was Jaybird's shot. So that everywhere we go, it's like one of those things where not very super close to him, but you always try to keep good people's memory alive somehow, you know.
And even with Jaybird, like it's just weird how people like how you interconnect with people. Like I went to McCann for massage therapy. When I was in school there, Jaybird was there for massage therapy. He was in his process of graduating, but that's the first time I ever met him. Never knew he sang in a band. Knew he did backflips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then to see him on stage, I'm like, wait a minute, I know that kid.
Yeah.
You know? And then his stepbrother is actually one of my best friends.
Yeah. He was another one. He's like another reason why I like Danger so much too is Danger and Jaybird kind of had the same thing where like, I've never did this before. I'm just going to do it. And I think that's a really cool quality to have in people where it's just like, you know, people get in that comfort zone and they don't want to try something new, you know, and they were both the type of people, like even Danger, like, I never tried that. I'm gonna go give it a shot. Like, I'll go. I think
Danger could be like a hell of a guitar player.
Yeah,
if he wanted to be.
Yeah, he could be a front man. He's not afraid to give it a shot. Like, and if he's
I've even offered like to give him pointers and stuff, and he's like, the people that that inspired me just aren't that good.
Yeah. I tried to pick up a guitar. And I still have one upstairs, and I was like, oh, I'm going to learn. And then all of my friends are super talented musicians. They're like, oh, dude, all you do is this. I'm just like, I quit. I'm done. I'm over it.
I honestly believe this. Like, I think I don't know, it's just something you're born with, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
I was told I have decent timing. I don't know how. I don't. But like I said, like I could remember lyrics like nobody's business. I retain lyrics like crazy. I just can't sing them.
Yeah. I have a little bit of perfect pitch. Like if you played a chord, I could probably tell you what it was. You know, I have a really good ear. I was born with a really good ear. So.
Yeah. I just think music's really powerful. There's a really cool video out of this elderly gentleman in a retirement home. And he literally sits there, his mouth's open, he's drooling, he doesn't know his name, he doesn't know anything about himself. He literally just sits in a home all day, and he's just a body. Like, he's a shell of who he was. And they started this new music therapy thing with this thing, and they walk up to him and they put an iPod in his ear with some of his favorite music of his time, and he immediately, his mouth shuts, he gets up and he's snapping, he's tapping. He don't remember the lyrics, but he's going along with the song, and he's like, I remember this song, 1945. This and then this guy, and he just like he's not coherent, but he's saying like he's like it literally takes his brain from this to this, and it's not, and it's so like it's such a powerful thing.
Yeah,
we have a friend that actually does that, Keith down in Reading, where he works with retirement community, and he'll take his acoustic guitar and play
the activities, like he does the activities, and he does the music therapy.
And he did this big radio thing where they talked about doing that, and if you could bring joy by just doing that, I mean, I watched my grandfather, in his last days, and just music was just making them happy.
Yeah.
You know.
It's definitely one of the only things that make me happy.
Yeah, it's entertainment. Like when people sit there and say, "Oh, you know, music is inspiring." Like I grew up in the time when Columbine happened, and they're like, "Music is the devil," and it makes people do terrible things. Like me personally, when I'm in my lowest depression stage, sad, depressing music is a counteractive to that, where I can listen to something super, super sad, and it brings me out of it. It's like like
Manson will even tell you that that's what killed his career.
What's that?
Columbine.
Yeah.
He'll even tell you that.
Yep.
But like the thing with music is like even at work, if you're having a bad day and you want to get the day over with, you're going to put on some Bullet for My Valentine or Metallica or something just to grind through the day.
Yep.
But there's also, I call them Friday dance parties, where we put the 80s on and we love it. We have a great day. We're whistling, we're singing, and there's days you just want to chill. You put some Neil Young on, and it's like there's something.
I sing at my desk all day, and I think people get upset with me. And then I make up lyrics to about my coworkers around me.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
But I'm on a construction site, so I get pretty nasty.
Yeah, I definitely can't do that. I work in a call center, and I'm like one of the only guys there. And then one girl, her last name, her last name goes with every single lyric somehow, and I just always put her name into the song. It's
That's great.
Yeah, no matter what it is. Like, I'm like the Weird Al of the job. I can just listen to a song and make lyrics up. Like
the power of music. I mean, we look at our son, and what's the Old Town Road?
Yeah.
The Billy Ray Cyrus.
I love that song.
He will sit there and sing.
He'll put his
every
blanket over his
word.
head, and he takes my phone, turns it up, and he under the blanket, and he'll sing the whole song. He used it for his talent show. Him and 3 of his friends at school used that for their song. But him and Billy are too. They're tight. Like when it comes to music, he'll go up there, he'll be singing, Billy will be playing guitar. Like I can't. Like I'm just so thankful that they are as.
Me and Billy talked about it in the show. It's a really weird thing when you have a younger sibling and there's an age gap there, you know. And I was even telling Billy, I was like, it's really easy to be the older brother and say, I'm not gonna hang out with him when he's older. But you could be so influential on your younger brother, because like my brother is like my kid. Like I raised my brother. We had 11-year difference between me and my brother, so it's I could have easily just not been a part of his life because I'm 11 years older and I'm doing my own things. But I always try to incorporate like, hey, here's some things I liked, and that's still some of the stuff to this day that my brother's into because I influenced him. And I even said like there was a point in time with Billy, I was telling him like I was not a good person. I was angry. I didn't want to be around. Like, you know, my depression was at its peak. But the main reason why I'm probably still here to this day is because I wouldn't have wanted to leave this world because I wanted to be here for my brother. And Billy was like, that was the same thing for him too. Like he was going through his own things, and it wasn't anything of a tribute to anyone else. Like he was just going through it himself, and one of his biggest anchors is his little brother. So we had a lot in common.
We are very thankful for that.
Billy is like Mother Hen. I call him Mother Hen because he'll yell at me for things
or me.
like, I'm like, Bill, he's fine. No, and he'll just go off the handle on me like, you're not doing this or you're not doing that right. I'm like, Bill.
Yeah.
I'm like, I raised you. Come out okay. You're good.
I went through the same thing where my sister and I are 18 years apart.
Ooh, that's
and what was really cool was she used to come see me play when we did like the Rock the Block, and she was like very young, probably as old as my son is now. Well, as the years go by, my sister used to sit up in her room when I lived at home with my mom yet, and she would be singing these songs. Well, we're going to fast forward a couple more years. Now we're in a band together, and my sister has some pipes on her.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to watch my sister to be that shy girl, not want to sing in front of somebody, to bringing the house down.
Yeah.
But in addition to your sister, your stepdad.
And my stepdad was playing bass. Yeah, Mike was playing guitar. I was playing guitar, and she was playing drums. And we had one of our friends playing keys. And it was like, it was cool to watch my sister just grow up like in front of me like that.
It's super easy to be a negative influence, but it's even more of a positive to be a positive influence on somebody. Yeah, it really is. Like it's like I said, it's you can every day you walk out of your house, you can inspire somebody. You can leave a legacy. You know, you may not have the legacy of a Stevie Ray Vaughan or a Prince, but in someone's life, you can be as big if not bigger. You know what I mean? Like, the world will always remember Prince, but your younger sibling or your cousin or your best friend will remember you for the rest of your life. You know,
Right.
like, and it just every day you wake up, like I always say to myself, I can walk out of my door and be negative and be positive and be sad and depressed and not smile at somebody. And if I don't do that, and someone can say, oh, well, I remember him, he was a scumbag, or he was an asshole, or I can do something super negative to somebody and go off the deep end and scream and fist fight and beat the hell out of them, and I can start a chain reaction to somebody to make, like, it's a butterfly effect, it's a ripple. Or you can wake up every day and be a positive person and change people's lives, and you could be the person like a Darren Fulton or a Jay Bird or someone that, or, you know, that someone's not here anymore that we still speak super highly of. And that's having that influence on a younger sibling or a family member or just people in general,
Right.
is super, super impactful.
I mean, I know a lot of people say I'm a dick because I am. I'm a dick.
I don't see it,
But I know I can be a
It's
dick.
only been 2 hours.
I think we're going to beat Billy's record.
I work in a field where I have apprentices.
Yeah.
So I'm a journeyman electrician, and I have apprentices that are coming through that are 18, 19 years old, coming into a trade that don't know anything.
And electricity is terrifying.
It is. And I just had an accident on a job this past week, and believe me, I'm ready to...
I can't do factory. Like, I worked in factory since I'm 18, and I just seen so many people get hurt. I was like, I can't physically do this anymore.
I still say it's one of the world's dangerous jobs.
Yeah.
Because you can't see it, you can't feel it. It'll just grab you.
Mm-hmm. I don't mess with electricity at all.
When I went through the apprenticeship, we were beat like dogs by these older guys.
Yeah.
You know, they were just downright nasty to us. So I always said, I'm not going to be like that. Not when I become a journeyman.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have a young guy on a job with me, and all everybody does is yell at this kid, and I don't. I just talk to him normal, and it's great because he listens to me, and now he's learning something.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and I'm watching this kid grow, because if I don't teach him the right way or be nice to this
He
kid,
can kill you or somebody else or himself.
or who's taking care of us when we get older?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're going to be the ones that are going to be contributing to my retirement and everything else. But like even in society itself, we're leaning on the younger generation when we get older. If we don't teach them right, I mean, we're in trouble.
Out of high school, I went to Botech for plumbing and heating, and right out of high school, I was like, man, I'm going to make good money. I'm going to enjoy this. And every single person I worked for, they treated me like, it wasn't even, like, I get hazing. Like, I'm a boy. Like, I had every girlfriend's dad do that to me. Growing up, I've been hazed. I was always the youngest and the smallest. But I was on the job, like at that point, like, all right, I'll deal with a couple weeks, but it just got every day it was worse because I kind of let it get worse, and it turned me off the job. Like I haven't done plumbing and heating in probably 15 years because like I'd be on the job and just get treated like the one guy. I literally thought he was gonna kill me the one day. He's trying to teach me how to do something, and he handed me the screwdriver to test the transformer on the boiler. And then he did it, and then he turned for a second, and he goes, "You try it," and it zapped me. Now that could have killed me. Like there's a lot of power on that, and I almost beat him up that day. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like this is not like I'm not here to play games. I'm here to learn and become better.
Correct.
And you're just here to just desecrate me as a person all day long. Like,
Well, a lot of people are
And that
afraid
happens
that
a
you're
lot
going
in
to come and
trades.
take his job.
yeah.
You know, and I don't look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at who's going to take care of me when I get older.
It's the same thing too. Even like in the factories, when we go to a factory, they wouldn't teach me everything. I had to learn it myself. And then the new guy would come, and they're like, "Yo, how come you're actually training me and the rest of them don't?" And I was like, I look at it as a team. Like if I'm the starting quarterback and I don't want to get my receivers and my linemen better, every day I come into this job, I'm going to be getting blitzed every single day. I'm going to be laying on my back, and I'm going to have a worse work experience. If I make you good as me,
Yep.
our job is going to be so much easier every day. We're going to come in and be like, oh, cool, we're all on the same page. We all know what we're doing. We can get a job done that would take maybe 3 hours. We can get it done in 45. And if we get it done in 45, we could probably fuck off for an hour.
Right, exactly. But this all falls with the music thing, too.
Yeah.
It's like Billy will bring something home from his buddy, was it Jeremy, that he goes down to?
Jeremy's really good, too.
Yeah, so they make this stuff up. Like, they're down there recording, doing these songs and stuff, and Billy goes, can you listen to this? And he goes, I want your honest opinion. And if there's something I don't like, I tell him about it.
Yeah.
Because sugarcoating it, ain't gonna make him work harder.
No, and
And-
sugarcoating is those guys on American Idol that think they can sing and they can't because their mom telling them they're the best thing on the planet,
Right.
and then they go
And-
and get embarrassed in front of people.
Billy has progressed so much over the last couple months, and I mean, the more stuff comes home to listen to, the better it gets.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. And then you look at these younger bands coming up. God damn, I wish I had the resources these kids had, because we didn't. And these kids are way better than I was at that age.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them are scary ass good.
Yeah.
You know?
One of the ones that I always say is no rain checks. Did you ever
I have a funny story.
Was that the
about
kids
it.
with the bacon suit?
Yeah.
I have a funny story.
That kid is a
about-
beast on guitar. He's
I have a
Max,
very,
yeah.
I have a very funny story about. Okay, this goes back. We're that punk rock prom show.
yeah.
We get there, and they were added like last minute. We didn't even know they were
Yeah.
playing. They get up there, and Max just like started fiddling around with my stuff. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, we were told not to bring anything. I'm like, sorry, you know, and I didn't let him use my stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I was a real prick. And I went to see my my buddy TJ play an acoustic at the Coney,
Hmm.
the one Sunday, and there was Max sitting in the back of me, and I went to him and I said, we played a show together at Goodfellas one time, and I was a real prick to you, and I want to tell you I am sorry.
I probably meant the world to him.
It did. He said, I really appreciate you telling me
Yeah.
that. And hey, Max, what's
Yeah.
up, bud?
I'm not. But that night he was super bummed.
Yeah.
Because when they showed up, like I said, they're at the last second, and they were like, "Oh my god, we're playing!" And like they were like kind of starstruck because they take it like they're excited. They're young kids, and and their Hampton's like, "Dude, one of the bands will let you hook you up with stuff. Just whoever set up, just go plug in." I think Hampton kind of gave him the okay,
Yeah.
and then he's like, he came down. He's like, "Oh my god, I just got yelled at by like," and then you going up and like, "Hey man, it probably made
Yeah.
it, yeah."
I think that was at the same show where I said, "Why is this kid setting up a drum set?" And I called Hampton. I'm like, I thought we were using the kit that's
Oh,
somebody
yeah,
else's
the
set
house
stuff."
kit.
And he's like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah. But
There's always
we
something
all
going on.
came from that,
Yeah.
where, like,
It's like that. The old like
it's a
you know,
learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like with the opening bands never got paid back in the day.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
you know.
That was a good show. I just wouldn't have called it the punk rock prom.
Yeah. I don't think there was like one punk rock song played.
The No Rain Checks did their whole set list to be punk rock, and Bad Maggie did most punk rock. You guys did classical rock. Cody Wiley did country acoustic. Billy played, and he did like
He did
like
3
the
songs.
like progressive like alternative music for the most part.
Didn't Hampton play on that one?
And then
Yeah.
Light of the Moon, they
Yeah.
did like rock and pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, this is the weirdest billing. I don't know.
And I'll tell
But
you
they're
what.
the best ones.
It was so much fun. It was
They're
so
the
much
I'll
best
tell you what
ones.
too. Like me and Max is like a complete '80s head.
He is. When do you hear their new album? Like so he knows that their bass player, the one on the bacon, and he's like, I hate wearing that fucking thing, but people remember the band by the kid who wears the bacon costume, so he wears it all the
I'm
time.
gonna have to
now.
bring some mayo and some cheese
Yeah.
and some.
So he he does the wrestling show with me. His parents own Farlow's in town, which is I love that place.
I loved it when it was in Ashland.
Yeah, well, that was the original Farlow's
Yeah,
family, and then
yeah.
they bought it and then just kept the name.
Yeah.
But if you have it in Pottsville, it's so good.
I'll have to try it.
Yeah, but they do their show and they made a song called Clash of Titans, and it's like wrestling inspired.
Nice.
So we use Clash of Titans as the intro song to our podcast for Tornado Tag.
Oh, is that the one?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then Look Alive gave us one of their songs, and we used their intro for Not Cool in High School. So like, and then I think Faith in Exile is giving us a song for Bangin' Beers. The only show that doesn't have one is this one, but like, people are like, man, I like your stuff. Can I make you a little? I think Billy and Jeremy are working on something in interviews.
Oh, it'll be good.
Yeah, so
It'll be good.
Yeah, I have all this really cool stuff.
Like
down the
what you're
pipeline.
saying about like
That was actually the prick story that I was talking about before we started this. That was the story.
Yeah.
You're talking about like a diverse show. Like we did one at Tubby's in Duncannon, and we went down there, and Hampton said, "Be yourself. Just do what you do best."
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, "Okay." So we get down there, and this first band goes on. I looked at her and I said, "We're in trouble." It was heavy, and I mean heavy.
Oh, is that when we played with Gunmetal Gray?
Yes. The next band goes on, they're even heavier. I'm going, oh shit.
Rewrite the set list.
we were ready to. We were ready to right then and there.
But we didn't.
We stuck to what we were told to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
we went up there and like played we played Shut Up and Dance.
We did like 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
everything.
Dance, rock,
And next thing you know,
heavy.
everybody's up front.
Yep. They were
And we're going,
dancing
holy
and-
shit, they actually like us. And
Yeah.
like these guys are like, oh, tattoos, biker jackets on. I'm going, okay, this is good.
And then when we opened for Silver Tongue, a lot of people
From that show came back.
Came
Oh,
back.
wow.
Yeah.
And then they kind of remembered us in that area of Mechanicsburg and Harrisburg and stuff. Because this year was the first year in a long time where we said, we're branching out.
Yep.
We're tired of playing in the same area.
Yeah, you have to.
It's a big circle. It's all you're doing.
Yep.
So we decided, okay, we're going to go down to Mechanicsburg. So we go down to Mechanicsburg. We play at this band. We get booked. We go back. The people love us. We start going to play in Reading. Reading's a hard area to play in.
Really?
Yes.
Very hard.
It's very hard, and especially when you're not known. I just happened to be blessed to know a bunch of people down in that area, and a couple people came, and they brought their friends, and well, those friends told these people. So the first night we're in there, the place is packed. We hit the second song, and people are dancing, and we started at 7 o'clock at night.
And people are already up having
And they're
time.
dancing already at 7 o'clock at night.
Like they have like a neighbor that always calls the cops on them. So we were like, screw it, we're gonna play from 7 to 10.
Yeah.
But it was.
so they can't do anything.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
nice though to go to another area.
Have you tried Harrisburg yet?
Yeah.
That
Yep.
HMAC is under new management. That's an awesome venue.
We haven't been down there yet.
Yeah.
But in that area there,
Yeah.
they really appreciate what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, the tambourine lady, we had her up on stage the entire night. She thought she was a member of the band, and she was asking where the next show was. And
She was asking for an audition.
I really, and I know she was having a good time, and she probably had a couple too many cocktails, but
Little courage there. Liquid courage.
it's
Yeah.
all good though, And then we played down in
That
York.
would actually be a good name for a band, Liquid Courage.
That should be the name of my podcast.
There you go.
We played in York, and there's this gentleman by himself just dancing away to like whatever we were playing. And I'm looking at her going, this is great. They don't know us. Some dude was driving by and heard us play and come right in.
That's awesome.
That's what makes this all worthwhile.
Yep. And I always say, like, I'd rather play in front of like 30 people that are getting into it, and really, up front and, appreciating it than like 200-300 that are just like
Your background
their
knows.
own,
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause you thrive-
Your background music to their conversation.
You thrive off the energy that comes from if you give the energy to the people,
Yep.
they're going to give it back to you, and then it makes
And
it.
it's just going to make the show a lot better.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the wildest places we play right now is the Pine Grove Fishing Game.
Really?
Yeah.
That place goes absolutely ape shit. I'm telling you, like Hooligan plays there. There's a bunch of bands from the area that play there. The energy they throw back at us, it's like holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, Hot Rod went pretty ape shit too.
Hot Rod's it's a good time.
Yeah.
Hot Rod's a real good time.
It's just a bitch to sound and
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the first time I seen you guys, I was watching and I hear the drums going and I couldn't see you because you're all good fellas. You're so tiny and all the drums and stuff. And I'm like, oh, there's someone back there.
Well, that's how the stage came about, because Fred Rare came into the Denny's when we played there years ago, and we stopped for a couple of years, and he said the same thing. He's like, I could hear you, I can't see you. So him and Lee got together, and behind our house one day, he's like, I'm gonna build you a stage, and I was like, all right.
Kind of put you up a little higher.
So yeah,
and it's based like a like a beer
It's like
case.
Yeah.
like a puzzle kind. You just
And we
put
play.
pieces
We
together
play
and-
at Denny's. We play with a band called Scarlet down there, and the drummer, Mert, he's like almost 7 foot tall. You know, like big guy, 7 foot tall, really huge, and his kid is like as monstrous as he is, and there she is, like, you know, like reaching out to grab cymbals.
I have
His
that one
wasn't.
beat.
He wasn't bad.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
You,
Goodfellas.
you couldn't even see her.
He
No.
had the rack and everything, but we played Goodfellas years ago. We opened up for Jimmy Van Zandt.
I
had
couldn't
to play
stop
on
laughing.
their drummer's kit. Their drummer had the chains that come down with the cymbals. You can't move anything. Well, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't care. I literally had to like be out of the seat just to reach
Just
everything.
to hit the cymbal. And I'm turning around
Because the dude
laughing
was,
my
like,
ass off.
Yeah, he was like 7 foot tall, the same thing. Like, and then I have to I get a kick at it. You know, some bands that we play with, I never have. I'll use anybody's stuff. I rarely move anything. I'll bring my own, breakables or whatever. Leave your toms where they're at, unless they're really high. But there's been a couple times over the years, ever since I got hooked up with Trick Drums, like those are my custom. I had them custom done, and that's my product. Like, those guys have been good to me. So when we do shows and we have openers, it's like, yeah, just bring your breakables. We've already come to the point where some of the drummers that would come in
They,
and be
they
like,
don't want to play a pink kit.
We had a band walk out already.
Why? What's wrong
Why?
with that?
They would not. Her drums are as pink as the oh yeah on your glass.
They're like a fluorescent pink
Yeah.
and green.
Who cares?
Yeah, what's it? I play your stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I play everybody else's stuff. What does it matter what color it is?
Yeah.
Does it sound good? If it sounds good, it
It's
shouldn't matter.
wild. I mean, but then there's some drummers that do get on there, like the one guy from Skin and Bones. There is a picture of him playing that kit
He's
years
not very
ago.
tall though. He's very
But
little taller than
he's
me.
a biker dude, okay, and he's a union boiler maker, and this guy's like he's a good old American boy, you know what I
He's a
mean?
great
Shit
drummer
house.
too.
And he's behind that kit with a big shit-eating grin on his face, and everybody keeps making fun. He goes, "But it's the best kit I ever played on in a long
Yeah.
time."
How about
You know?
you ever watch when Zach Wild plays on a Hello Kitty guitar?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
but we literally had bands walk out.
That's silly.
I like John 5 did the same thing too with the Hello Kitty guitars. He's
Yeah.
there playing like the chicken picking and stuff with it. and-
Yep. So we'll wrap it up here. But before we get out of here, anything you guys want to plug or get out there before we wrap up?
What we got going on? We got the Operation Bear Hug at the end of the month. September we're at Strikers.
Yeah, Strikers on the 21st,
21st.
and the 28th we have like
The Abate.
The Abate with Halfway to Hell.
Yep.
October
And-
5th is Denny's.
Yep.
October 12th is the Southcast Fire Company Haunted Hayride. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
We'll probably. My wife is obsessed with horror movies, so we'll.
Oh, me too.
So
Me too.
she will be. This is actually from a box we get called Loot Fright, and it's a little cell phone holder.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
sometimes I do show notes and I have it sit there. But yeah, we're big horror. We used to have a Saint Bernard. He passed away. His name was
Oh,
Cujo.
awesome.
The bathroom is. Did you see the shower curtain?
Yes.
It's a scene from Psycho.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Wait.
Next thing you're gonna tell me you name your car Christine.
No. She's actually working on a paint. So she likes to do like crafts and painting. Once we eventually get money and I can stop putting money towards the podcast and put it towards the house. She's a great wife. She's so very supportive. We want to remodel everything, but she wants to do like bacon here. But she wants the living room to be like movie themed, and she's making all these paintings now. So she's making one right now. She's working on it. It's Ghostface, and it says, "What's your favorite scary movie?"
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so she's super into horror movies. That's like her favorite thing.
Very cool.
She'll sit here like when I go. People are like, "Oh, how come you never bring her out?" I'm like, she don't like the bar scene, and she'd much rather just stay at home and watch movies. So
Yeah.
she usually stays at home and she's watching horror movies all night. That's her thing.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
And if you really want to go way out there, October 26th we're at
Pine Grove Fishing
Pine
Game
Grove
for
Fishing Game for Halloween,
Costume prizes.
and November 2nd we're at Goodfellas with Bark at the Moon,
I gotta see them too.
and we are going to have tickets for that too. So I'll hook you up with tickets.
Cool.
Hey, I'll buy a Skook Stock ticket. I'll give you your Bark at the Moon ticket.
Awesome.
Yep, August 24th, Skookstock, obviously, you
Yeah.
guys. And I'm not going to push other bands because I know it's about us. But now you want to share with other people. But September 7th,
Yep.
Coaldale Block Party. Nobody has anything going on. I'm going to fill in with Toolshed Jack that night because you gotta help each other out once in a while.
Yeah.
So.
And I think the kid's staying home that night because my birthday's 2 days before, so I'm getting annihilated.
Tulsa Jack is such a good time. They got the new singer. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
She has like a cool like Marilyn Monroe look going on. She's a good time.
You know what? I didn't see Light Up the Moon with the girl singer yet.
I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I'll have to call Rob.
But yeah, you know, plug everybody, plug
Yeah.
you know, all your
Yeah.
local bands, help everybody out.
We're big Flatline fans too.
Yeah.
Yes,
Brent.
Weber.
Brent
He's
Reber's
always
an
out.
animal.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
And JT's got a big voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Let's make that show happen, guys.
when he was on the show, he was talking about how he's trying to find the love of his life, and we updated his Tinder profile.
Oh no.
And we recorded a video. I was like, we went on Tinder and made a video, and I said, "This is Anthony from Interviews with Everyday People. Suck his dick."
Nice.
I think I saw that. Yeah. And some bands out of the area, from Dawn Till Death.
Dawn Till Death.
They've been really good to us, like down in the Harrisburg, York area.
Mm-hmm.
And Throwback 202, our buddy Brett. Let's make that show happening.
Yeah. Have you listened to that Small Town Titans yet?
Yeah.
They're a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
I haven't seen them live yet, but they're pretty good. They have a good sound. I dig it. And the drummer, I guess he went to North Schuylkill.
Yeah. Johnny's from Gordon.
Yeah, big wrestling fan too.
Oh yeah.
And he did a video where he was drumming in the one video, and he was wearing I'm a Heyman guy. And,
No.
And Paul Heyman shared the video. He shared their music video.
No shit.
Yeah, their Mr. Grinch got like 2 million views.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other one they did with the guy from the other band where they did Hunger Strike.
Yes, really good.
That guy can fucking sing.
Yeah.
Man.
And that's the cool thing too. Guess what? They put a cover out, and people go, "Oh my God, they're doing Bohemian Rhapsody, or they're doing Fat Bottom Girls," and they're like, "I want to hear what their actual originals sound like." So it's not bad to do cover music
Yeah.
every once in a while.
To bring that up, like for inspiration, just because I was thinking about it when we did the Filter show, when we did the after party, we did an after party for Filter at Goodfellas,
We played the show and did an after party.
and during our set, they actually came over to check us out, and we had Phil Buckman, who was the bass player, and the guitar player Patrick came up and played
the
with
singer.
us. So
We did Pantera together.
Yeah,
that was
to share
on
the
their
stage with
Facebook
them.
page.
Yes,
They
awesome.
shared it.
They
Yeah.
took a video and they shared it. It was awesome. They,
Pantera, we did
Fight for Your Right
Fight for Your
and
Right and Tom
Last
Petty.
Dance with Mary Jane with Phil. Yeah.
You know, and it's
What Pantera song?
Walk.
Walk.
Oh yeah,
My
that used
favorite-
to be the main staple song of this band.
I love 5 Minutes Alone.
Oh yeah, done it.
Yeah.
My favorite Pantera song. I'd love to do 5 Minutes Alone.
But the other one I really, really like, and I don't know if many Pantera fans like Hollowed,
Oh yeah.
where it has that and it's like really like
I've only
Dude.
seen,
It's really
I've
mellow.
only-
It's a
I've only
mellow
seen-
song.
I've only seen Pantera once.
Any Pantera
And-
song.
yeah.
I've seen Pantera. They were opening for Skid Row
Yep.
at the Spectrum in Philly.
Yeah.
I see them with Static
when
X.
Vulgar Display just came out.
And if you want to hear something that we did, I just did an interview with the Murder My Dude guys, and we actually covered the Dimebag Darrell murder, where he passed away.
I
A
actually
fan,
met Dime 2 weeks before he got killed.
a fan passed away. One of the security guards passed. I think ended up like 4 people.
It's like a road crew member.
Yeah, four
It's
people.
a security guard that was like right there with him. Like, me and Jason Corby went down to the TLA. No, it was the Trocadero. We were down there and we saw Damage Plan, and after the show we were there, and there was Dime just like sitting up at the bar, you know, and he was like so cool. Sign anything you wanted. He wanted his picture taken with Corby.
Really?
And that was like one of the last pictures on his phone that they found, and they put it in the Dying Vision DVD.
Yeah.
That's how we got that's how Corby got the picture, was from the Dying Vision DVD.
That's crazy, and that's the thing too, man. Like, appreciate that, because not like people get mad at celebrities or musicians where they're like, oh, they didn't even come out and say hi, because you have psychopaths sometimes, man.
Right.
So if someone is doing that and they're part of a band, limit yourself. Don't, because you're gonna have a lot of people fighting for that attention. Just a hi, like I
That's
don't.
what I always
Yep.
say to him. He gets like excited. He's like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
do this, I do that," and I'd be like, "I just treat them as I don't treat
Yeah.
anybody any different than what I would treat."
There's a
myself.
few people
Like,
that if I met, I'd be like, oh my god, how do I handle this? But
But the wildest thing, it happened 2 times in a row. when we were in Copper 7. I went missing for a while. I ended up on the bus with saliva, doing shots of Jägermeister.
That's what
Played with so many cool
That's what you're supposed to do, though.
bands, yeah.
And then
Tantric was cool.
the ultimate one for me was, it was around my birthday, and we walked in with our stuff, and they're getting ready to sound check with Static X.
Oh wow.
And I got to
Well,
meet...
lead singer died of that band, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting them, and they were the coolest fucking dudes ever. And his hair was like fucking 4 foot high. I was
Yeah.
like, this guy rocks, you know? But, and then to meet like these up and coming bands, or even see, like, I was introduced to, I am not into new music at all. I can't stand it. But last year, she got me tickets for, what was that, Rock of Allegiance?
Okay.
And there was a band there, and they're starting to get headway now. They're called Bad Flower.
Okay.
And like some of these bands, like I never heard Beartooth before. And Billy's like, you got to hear these guys. Well, they came out. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, they were so good. I
There were
enjoyed
some
it.
really good bands, and
Yeah,
then there
you
were
just gotta
some
look for 'em.
bands that were just like that
Rock music does
fever.
not make the charts anymore. You have to
No.
you have to search for it.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, you know, he's like, well, I want to see this band, and I've never seen these bands before, so I'm trying to be a little more open where Billy can maybe teach me a little thing or two, because he's listened to me all his life practically of like, hey, listen to this, you know. But
Like Bayside, like Bayside
Yes.
is his big, you know, one of his.
I'm
favorites.
starting to listen to them
They
now,
are really good.
Yeah.
and
And just
like, it was just a breath of fresh air to finally say, okay, now guess what? It's going to be tit for tat for today. I'll listen to your bands if you listen to mine today.
Yeah.
And this was all
That's
one
fun to do.
concert. So, and I will admit this, I am a Limp Bizkit fan. So,
I like Wes Borland. I think he's a great
dude,
I don't
but
like
they,
this.
He's
they,
a good guitarist. Wes Borland's a good guitarist.
they kind of sucked when we seen them.
Really?
They played nothing but fucking cover songs for 25 minutes, and I was like a little pissed off. But then, like, he introduced me to like all these newer bands, and we got to see Guar, and we got to see the Insane Clown Posse, and like,
I would have skipped on that one.
but you know what I'm saying? I could
we
care
weren't up
less.
front, we were back front.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got
But,
anywhere near
like
the front
Papa
last stage.
Roach and Skillet, and
Yeah.
there were
But
just like so many good
Who was
bands
it that
there.
we seen was Bullet for My
Yes, Bullet
Valentine?
for My
Yeah.
Val-
Oh my god.
That was an eye opener.
We were right up front, and this place went ape shit. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm too old to be in here. You know?
I do not do well with pits. I run. I'm like,
Our experience in that pit,
The lady in the wheelchair.
the lady in the
And I'm trying to
in the
protect this
wheelchair.
lady.
Well, you were behind us. I was holding her up because she was standing up. She was younger than me, and her little tiny boyfriend or whatever reminded me of my brother Chris. I mean, that's what he looked like. And Billy's on the one side, and people are crowd surfing and everything. And somebody came and hit her, and she went forward. I grabbed her, and I'm like, this shouldn't. I understand, like, people want to have a good time, but other people want to have a good time
but
too.
just to
So-
maybe, she was probably like, she knew what she was getting into being in that
Sure.
pit, and she probably wanted to be like, I wanted to be like everyone else, because in her mind, she's probably like, everyone treats me like I'm a teacup, and I want to be in a
Right.
pit and have
But
fun.
it was a little brutal in
Yeah.
there. So I actually got to Ultimate Warrior somebody in that pit.
Oh, yeah?
Because they were crowd surfing, and I didn't want them to hit her. And
And other people were trying to like get them to go, you know, the
Yeah.
opposite sides because they could see that
Mhm.
she was.
I want
there to
to
enjoy
my
it,
my must see band, and I want to do it so bad. I have to see the Foo Fighters. I have to.
That would be a good
that'd be a good show.
Yeah, I'll
Definitely.
dude. I'll leave there with a split headache for screaming at the top of my lungs. That's one thing I have to like. I was teaching myself I have to stop doing. Like, I go to see a band on a Saturday night, and I'm usually right up front, and I'm usually screaming, and I'm usually singing, and then the next day on my show, I'm like, hey everyone, this is Anthony, Bang First Podcast.
Tea and honey, brother.
Yeah,
Tea and honey.
yeah.
I think the one band I really want to see again, and it's been a long time, is Rammstein.
Okay.
Their stadium show that they're doing now is insane.
I seen them a long time ago, and it was insane.
They have pyro outside in the crowd.
Mhm.
It is unbelievable.
When my dad was in college, he went to Harrisburg, and he said the island was like the hot spot for concerts. He
I
said
saw Kiss there.
He said he's seen everyone. He said not bashing Kiss, but he said one of the worst shows he's seen was Kiss. He said that maybe they just had a bad night that night. He said stage wise, like visually, it was fun to watch. He says, "What this? It sounded like whoever did the sound that night. It wasn't."
Yeah, I actually remember that was it around 1990?
I believe he said it was. The only thing he remembers is that was when Gene was doing the blood through like.
Oh, well, then it must have been a long time ago. Then
it was early. No, it was 80s because I wasn't born yet. My dad was in college, so it was probably early mid 80s.
Well, they took the makeup off in 83.
Okay.
So it had to be 82, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. He said it was. I
don't think they played. I don't even think they got the Pennsylvania on the Creatures of the Night tour.
He said he's seen him there, and he said it was a fun show visually. He said just the sound was bad. He said Aerosmith was awesome. He said Motley Crue was probably one of the best shows he's seen. He said he said he had it. I don't know if he think he still has it, but he had a Tommy Lee stick.
I actually think Kiss was like the last show they had at City Island.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, he said he went to see everybody there.
Yeah.
So it was a good time. But that'll do it here. Thank you so much for coming in. Check everything out in the links below. We'll probably have a little bit of Billy in there. We'll have the band's stuff in there. We'll have a lot of cool stuff in there. So come out August 31st to the show. Bring a teddy bear or bring some money. Help out.
Just one more shout out. I forgot to say hey to Trent Knoll, Fallen Pride.
Yep. Another big Kiss fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, brothers.
We went to Philly together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he said Gene stared at him. He took a picture of it. He fangirled a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Did you have a good time?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
awesome. So you guys are clocking in at about 2:30. So
yeah.
Oh, we're close to Billy.
A little
Close to
short,
Billy.
but it was fun.
But you know what? I'll be coming up for one of these wrestling ones.
Awesome. Thursday nights.
Ooh.
Tornado Tech Podcast.
Oh.
And maybe we'll hang out at a PBW show.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. If I can get my mouse to work.